Ta-da! We're live. Hey, kids. This is Ivan. How you doing? And this is welcome to episode 6 of Lamentations of the Flame Princess in Prussia, an episode I've decided to call Black Magic Woman because I seem to be stuck on song titles at this point. But I'm going to let my stalwart adventurers introduce themselves really briefly before we get on with the adventure. So we'll start with Jason and go that way.
I am Jürgen Weber. I am a once witch hunter cleric turned lost soul, so to speak. I am currently having apprehended one suspected witch, headed back to our landlord's home to, the mindset for Jürgen is to end who he thinks is the witch. And that is the daughter of our landlord, Amanda. So my state of mind, having just survived, having been rescued by Hans from his deathbed, is in a foul place in his temperament. So that's Jürgen. That's where I'm at right now.
All righty. And Josh?
I am Heinrich Bock, the son of the great baker. I have had a troubled life up until this point. As a young child, I sustained a head injury by a Protestant crusader. In fact, I'm pretty sure I might have been close to death. I was thrown into a well. Long story short, I've been adventuring with these two fine gentlemen for a while. I've been in various states of mind lately, and I've gained some local celebrity here in Berlin by slaying an awful witch. Yes. And well, this celebrity has brought its ups and downs. People now expect me to be able to handle things like zombies rising from the dead. It's perhaps a skill I am not as adept with as my reputation would have people believe. Luckily, I know good Jürgen here, who has killed many witches and foul things in his life. And so perhaps I'm the hype man and he's the muscle. And that's where we.
Excellent. And Lee.
So I am Dr. Hans Fleischer, a non-conventional doctor and dabbler in occult arts. Spends most of his time at the bottom of an opium bottle or a laudanum bottle or a bottle of whatever he can find. But he does use his magic for some good, he hopes. Although our stalwart witch hunters may argue with that. He has recently slain his own doppelganger, which weighed heavy on his mind. But now he's looking to find some sort of redemption in place in God's great plan before he goes insane.
Which probably won't be very long. Okay, excellent. So just a little bit of housekeeping that we talked right before we started the game. I realized that I had not really been giving out experience points like I should have. I've been marking them down, but I'm thinking, well, these guys should get to third level pretty soon. And I've been kind of playing a little fast and loose. That we are using the OSR, Lamentations of the Flame Princess rules. The first game, I let them all level up to second level just for living, because that's an incredible accomplishment in Lamentations of the Flame Princess. And so in order to level the magic user, in this case, they would all have 2250 XP at that point. Because it's not unified XP, they'd all level at different points. And so I figured, well, gosh, I was thinking about this week. We've had like 4 other sessions. So let me think, they got 500 XP each session. They've faced some trials and tribulations and what have you, and managed to live and not go completely crazy yet and learn a few things, or, I think they learned something. And I realized that I shortchanged them, that poor Heinrich should have leveled a couple adventures ago, and Jürgen should level now. So before we started, Jürgen and Heinrich both level. So they're both level 3. Jürgen is a level 3 fighter, and Heinrich is a level 3 specialist, and they have updated their character sheets accordingly. Our poor doctor, if he should survive this adventure, will level next time. But that's where we're at. When we left the stalwart party, I believe it was about 4 a.m. in the morning, 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning on the 15th. Jürgen had actually been staying at the house of their landlords, Bertram and Sophie, and not Bertrude, and watching their daughter Amanda, because Amanda had been claiming that she had been seeing a double. Somebody had been coming to the house, and this was actually brought to their attention by their their lackey Goddard, who seems to be managing the house for them. You know, and they also gained quite a bit of reputation as witch killers because Heinrich the Mighty killed a witch right in the middle of the street and saved everybody. They did not fare so well with some zombies they found later on. However, yeah, they didn't do so good. But Jürgen lived just by 1 hit point. But at this point, Jürgen was watching or guarding this young girl Amanda. Her double came to the door. Which one is which? Nobody can tell. And what the nature of this double might be, nobody can tell either. But Jürgen has escorted this young lady back to their home, woken everybody up, and now is heading back towards Bertram and Sophie's house, where he is supposed to be guarding their daughter, who presumably is still asleep, or at least in her room. And that's where we start the session.
As Jürgen moves through the darkness and the cold, he stops more than once, sweating profusely, feels his wound, can feel his leather armor where it's been damaged. He is in his mind going over what he thinks he has to do, which is destroy the witch that is in his landlord's home. And then he'll stumble along, and as he gets closer to the house, he will look at the second story, try to find Amanda's window, and ultimately make sure that it's not open, that there's no one about in the streets. And then I would want to approach the front door and re-enter the home. I would like to look about their foyer, they're downstairs, and find a vase and get out a small sack, mirror, vase, something glass, and I'm going to put it in that sack and I'm going to break it because I know that witches can't handle the sound of breaking glass. And then I'm going to approach her door and listen at the door, see if I hear anything.
Okie dokie. Well, let's see. Why don't you roll me a d6 for breaking this glass and see if you... A 6. Well, you managed to smack... First of all, you can locate her room very easily. The window was closed. Her room is actually above what appears to be the kitchen. There's, if you recall, there's no fireplace in her room, so there's a grate. So right above this, underneath the stove or over the stove, a lot of the heat goes from that way. So you were able to come in. You're able to locate a vase in the foyer without a problem. Putting it in the sack is not a problem. Breaking it deftly, probably not a problem. It is much louder than you anticipated. So why don't you roll me a d6 again, just for the heck of it.
2.
Okay, well, it was loud, but at this point, you only hear one door open upstairs, and you begin to hear feet coming downstairs. In the meantime, going back to the house, you have left Amanda. We'll call her Amanda 2, as opposed to Amanda 1, who is in the home, or presumably in the home. With our I believe everybody's up at this point. Goddard, they roused Goddard, they roused Otto, roused Gretchen, and what are you fellas doing at this point? The young lady is eating; she is famished, and so Gretchen has brought out some pickles and cheese and some cold chicken. She's also joined her friend, the young lady. So you have 2 young women with prodigious appetites at your kitchen table.
I'll take a swig of wine and just start looking at this girl, this woman, trying to look for inconsistencies, blemishes, differences. I've spoken to one of the Amandas at her home, so now
right.
I'm just sort of looking at this one, just trying to figure out what's wrong. What's this one got that the other one hasn't, or vice versa.
Okie dokie. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make an anatomy roll for you, just in case you wouldn't know what might happen. But you're looking at her. I can tell you, you look her over. You can't see anything that seems to be different than the other one. You don't have them side by side, so you can't, you can't go, step by step and piece by piece and see if there's any sort of difference. She bears this remarkable resemblance to the girl you saw. She's a little dirtier. Her clothes are a little tattered. And it looks just like from wear of 1 or 2 nights. It seems like she probably, as the other Amanda claims, stole some of her clothes or took some of the clothes out of the closet. And so she's a little dirty here and there. Has a couple scratches on her that, kind of consistent with like being out, on the street in the cold. She certainly seems as though she's cold. She's quite red, and she seems as though she hasn't eaten in a couple days. But other than that, you're not finding anything really outstanding on this young lady. And you're not doing a thorough exam, but
no, she seems to, for all intents and purposes, be completely human.
Yeah, I mean, she just looks like any other woman, except she's a dead ringer for the young woman you spoke to earlier today. I mean, you wouldn't know too much about dead ringers for other people and twins or anything, but just she appears to be a normal woman. And what about our good baker? Are you still up?
Oh, I am studying the book of baking recipes. Yes, that I got back before I came to Berlin. Still trying to perfect my trade. Trying to find ways to. I could never surpass my dear father, but I could approach his greatness. But I am eyeballing these goings on over the top edge of the book as they happen. But otherwise, I am remaining quiet, uncharacteristically so lately, and studying.
Okay, and Otto himself, Otto is like, it seems to be just kind of like irritated by the entire thing. Just woke up right in the middle of the night. He's like, oh, he doesn't really seem to know what the big deal is. And he doesn't even say anything. And he kind of just sort of slowly backs out of the room, looks to see if anybody says anything, and goes back to his room. In the meantime, Goddard has given up and has decided to start to make some tea. Perhaps being an old man, like in his 50s, somebody slightly older than myself. I hear they don't sleep very much, so he's already making some tea and just looks over the two of you. Does anybody care for some tea?
Yes, as strong as you can make it, Goddard.
You mean strong tea, not that I should put more liquor in it?
I've got liquor aplenty here, but the tea will be a good chaser.
And you, Master Heinrich?
Yes, I will take 3 sugar cubes in mine.
Of course you will. So Goddard, as a tea kettle whistling in the background. And in the meantime, sorry?
I'll take out a jar for my medical bits and pieces, which have just been very recently used, so they're still quite fresh. Take my scalpel and clean it off, and sort of move over to where the girl is eating and sit opposite her at the table. Put the jar down. Yeah, my dear, I'm going to have to take some blood.
She looks like you take some blood. Why?
Yes.
Who are you?
Oh yes, we haven't been acquainted yet. I'm
Not really.
Dr. Hans Fleischer. I'm a physician. I'm skilled in the arts of bloodletting and leechcraft.
Leechcraft? Well, what do you need my blood for?
You have been exposed to the elements for a while now. I need to see if your humors are aligned.
Of course, she said. She looks a little trepidatious, but she says, "Okay, of course." And she kind of stretches out her arm. Will we be using leeches or?
No. And I kind of take the scalpel. Just pass me your hand there.
And she shakes, and she goes, "Don't cut me too much, doctor. You'll bandage it right up, won't you?"
You'll be fine. And I'll just the tiniest kind of just cut in the tip of the finger, just to get a few drops of blood.
Yeah. And she bleeds. She kind of winces a little bit as you cut her.
Maybe take a little more, as if I'm almost like disbelieving it, that I'm expecting it to turn into melt water, and
right.
But in the jar, just gotta swirl it around a little bit. Yes, and I'll start bandaging up the cut.
And she takes it back, looks at her hand. Let me know if I'll be okay, doctor, won't you?
Of course. Gretchen, why don't you take this young lady to be clean? Maybe see if she'll fit into some of your garments. You do have garments, don't you, Gretchen? I can't quite remember.
Oh, Gretchen, yeah, Gretchen. Yeah, oh, of course, sure, I'll do that. And so she gets up. The young lady actually takes like another chicken leg, in the hand that you just cut, and is eating it. Like she looks like she just has not eaten for a few days.
Eat, clean yourself, and rest in the morning.
Right. So Gretchen takes her over to like her chamber, her room, and you can hear like from the front of the door like sounds of her like grabbing her some water. She's heating some water up on the stove as well, and you can hear them talking, just kind of muffled conversations. And so in the meantime, Jürgen, you're hearing footsteps slowly coming down the stairs.
I will step aside into the darkness and watch.
And as you watch, you see the figure of Amanda. She is in her. She's in a nightgown, but like a heavy nightgown because it's winter. And she has a candle in her hand, and she's looking around, and she's like, "Jürgen, is that you?"
And I'll step out of the shadows with the sack behind my back. Yes, Amanda. What are you doing here? You should be in your room.
I thought I heard something break. I thought maybe that thing tried to come in the house.
Yes, that is why I'm here. I heard it as well. Let me escort you back to your bedroom. You should not be down here. It's dangerous.
And she kind of walks almost past you. She's like going to like look out the curtain to see, out the window to see. Did you see it? Did you see it?
I did not, but something is down here. Come, we should retreat to your bedroom.
And when you say something is down here, she kind of comes right up, next to you, kind of grabs your clothes into your chest, And that classic damsel in distress, protect me, sort of move.
And I kind of put my hand behind her head and grab her hair, and I pull her head back. Now, tell me which. And I pull the bag out with the glass, and I rattle it, shake it, to see her response.
Her response. Let's see what her response is. She has this look of fear on her face. Tell you what.
And I shake it in her face more. Tell me you're the witch, girl.
I'm the witch. What's the matter with you? Have you gone mad?
That's not it. So I discard the bag and let her hair and push her away. There's something amiss. There's something amiss. To your room. I must retreat back to my friends before it's too late.
And she's backing away from you. You can't possibly believe.
Yes, I do. Tell me you're not. Tell me where you've been.
I've been upstairs.
Yes, and back upstairs, girl. Now.
And she looks at you. She's clearly she appears frightened. And she goes back up the stairs, kind of like in that sideways, way, still looking back at you the whole time.
Yeah, and I stretch my hands out between the walls to make sure she can't run by, and I follow her up into the room, and then shut the door. And I'm gonna stand there for a second, catching my breath, sweating again profusely, questioning whether I have made the wrong decision. Conflicted. Yes. I'm going to go ahead and open her bedroom door. Amanda, grab a coat. I think you should come with me. We are going to face this. We are going to face this together.
And she looks at you, like, well, let me get dressed first. Give me a minute.
No, grab a coat, or I will take you as you are now.
And she looks kind of blanched, but she grabs a heavy coat, puts it on.
Okay, so again, I'll grab her by the arm firmly, so I can kind of lead her down and out. And I tell her, don't be scared, girl. I may have been mistaken, but we must have you meet your doppelganger.
Do you know where she is? And she's kind
Yes.
of, once again, kind of grabs you again as you're walking down the street.
Yes. We will deal with this. We will deal with this properly. And I'm going to try to lead her through the darkness and the cold back to our house.
So you walk down the street past the sound of crying babies, and the sounds of crying children of Berlin in the background as somebody's child is woken up just a little bit too early at 4 o'clock in the morning. But
I just don't want to hear any flies.
Yeah. And so you're able to bring her back to your house at about like 4:30.
Okay. And again, I'll bring her right back into the kitchen where I brought the master man. Keeping a firm grip on her as I bring her into the kitchen and present her to my colleagues. Hans, I hope you have made headway because I have brought the other girl.
I'll just be sat at the table looking at this blood. It's over being heated over a candle or something on a tripod. And then I kind of look up and I see her. She's being taken care of by Gretchen at the moment. Cleaned, fed, rest. She looks like she needs it. The poor soul's been out on the streets for days by the looks of things.
So you have not seen any evidence that she might be a doppelganger witch?
This blood is human blood.
In the meantime, the whole time you're having this discussion, the young lady that you brought there, Amanda, we'll call her Amanda 1, is looking back and forth at Jürgen and the doctor, just kind of with this pained expression on her face. In the meantime, Goddard walks in from the kitchen area with the tea. It's like, good heavens, not again. She's striking. What a striking resemblance that young woman we have here. Another set of twins.
Yeah, Jürgen has the truth of the matter, though. We need them together for a more thorough examination to see how they react, how they interact. Can they coexist?
Huh. Yes, Goddard, please fetch Gretchen and the other girl, please. Bring them in the kitchen. And Goddard, on your way, bring me a bag of glass, please.
A bag of glass?
A bag of glass. A witch should not be able to tolerate the sound of broken glass.
Bag of glass.
Yes, man. Just put a vase or a mirror in a bag, break it, and bring it to me.
And Goddard looks at you, with that just look of resignation, and he doesn't say anything. He just kind of shrugs, grabs a bag, and walks towards the kitchen. And you hear like a little break and a sigh, and then you hear him walking towards.
I look at Amanda. The Amanda I'm holding, when he breaks the glass, I watch her again quickly to see if she responds to the noise.
She jumps just a little bit.
And I'll walk around and present her a chair. Have a seat, girl, at the table.
And so she sits down at this point, visibly shaken.
Okay.
And Heinrich, you've been awful quiet.
Step around behind her and put my hands on her shoulders.
I am simply observing my friends so that I might become a better witch hunter.
Nice. All right. So Goddard returns in a moment. And bring in coming in. He walks in the room, and behind him is this young girl, and then Gretchen starts to walk in the room and stops and just kind of puts her hand over and kind of has a sharp inhalation, and then kind of starts walking backwards. Doesn't actually enter the room. And in the meantime,
I'll just say that'll be all then, Gretchen. Please take your leave.
Yeah, she has like eyes as big as saucers and just kind of starts to walk backwards. And in the meantime, this other young lady, walks in, and the two just lock eyes immediately, and you can see them both tense up. And both like almost as if on cue, the two of them like point. It's like, that's her.
I'll take a hand. Again, I'm standing behind Amanda, seated with my hands on her shoulders, and I'll wave for God. Bring me the bag.
He brings over. Here you go, sir.
And I'll take it, and I will shake it as hard as I can in front of both of them. See if we see a response.
All righty. I wonder what kind of response they'll be. They both sort of jump a little bit, but their responses are almost identical. They just seem to be startled.
And I set the bag down. This is difficult. Hans, do you have any questions for the girls?
Oh, I'm telling you, these are near exact, and I'll start moving in sort of close. So I'm really kind of like just checking the flesh on their faces, like looking at their hair, their eyes, just looking for something, anything that would suggest that they are in any way mismatched.
What's remarkable is as you start looking from woman to woman, they're clearly dressed differently. One was, we'll call her Amanda too. Is dressed now in some of Gretchen's clothes. She's even cleaned up a little bit. The other one's in her nightgown with a coat on. But other than that, they seem to be really, really. I mean, they seem like the same person. There's nothing that really seems to distinguish either of them from each other. They're both getting more and more agitated, though. You can see, and finally, like you're next to the one that was with Gretchen, the doctor, and she kind of grabs you. Say, can't you see that woman? That's not me. She's trying to take my place. And almost at the same exact time, like within a split second, the other one next to Jurgen, just kind of turns around, kind of grabs Jurgen's coat for a second. It's like you can't believe her. That's the double. She's trying to take my place. She's going to kill me. And Heinrich, I think you should roll a d12 right about now.
Oh, yes.
Or no, roll a. You got a 3, but roll a saving throw versus magic first, because maybe we'll be nice.
Magic.
Yeah.
That is an 11.
Okay, you did not make it, so that's a 3. All right, excellent. And okay, then roll me a d12 one more time.
That is a 9.
Really? Okay. Huh. All right. And then roll me a d6.
A 5.
Okay. Heinrich, you start to, two things happen. You no longer feel those intrusive thoughts of your parents, however, you also have reverted back to 6 intelligence. You are the Heinrich that they met. This will last until I tell you it's over.
Little girls in room look alike, friends.
That's what we need to find out, Heinrich.
Heinrich. Good to have you back, Heinrich.
I did not go anywhere, friend Jürgen.
Seems the conversation's going to get rather limited now.
Mm-hmm. Let's stick with the plan. So, Heinrich.
What plan? The girl next to you just kind of looks at you imploringly. What plan?
Hans has asked you questions, has he not? The girl that's in front of me, I've got my hands on her. He has asked you questions, has he not?
Some.
Yes,
I've all taken blood, but I have a theory.
Blood? What do you mean by blood?
Oh, blood. I haven't taken blood from you yet, actually.
And the woman next to you says she probably doesn't have any.
That's what we need to find out.
Go ahead, take it all. And the other one just looks at her, you bitch, you would want to. I'd kill you myself.
Okay. Let's keep this calm, ladies. Okay.
They are not really. They're not really following that kind of instruction. They're getting.
Let's keep this simple, shall we, ladies? Now, you to the first. We will call you Ein, and you shall be Zwei.
And they both look at you almost at the same time. It's like, my name is Amanda.
Well, yes, but you can see how we're
anything
getting
else.
confused here.
Confused.
So,
You're confused, Doctor.
we have taken blood from Amanda Zwei. We now need to take blood from Amanda Ein.
And the woman next to you, you're taking blood to it says, why is she Amanda Ein? I'm Amanda.
Because you were the second one we met.
You're the first one I met.
Well, that's not as unusual as you'd think it might be. Now, I need to take some blood from Amanda Ein. Or do you refuse?
Actually, go ahead, take my blood.
Right, and I'll take another glass, but I hopefully hasn't been smashed by Otto. And take another sample and just bleed it a little bit into, then have a look at it.
Tell me when it's over.
Once it's done, I'm sort of bandage over and again look at this glass and see if compare it to the other one.
So I mean, her finger cuts the same. It bleeds the same. She kind of looks at you. You know, you can tell she bites her lip. It hurts, or looks like it hurts.
Yes. Well, at least you're both seemingly passing as human. So let's just note that down, shall we? So,
passing as human, and they both give you this like look.
Now, ladies, are you literate? Do you know your letters?
And they both look at you like, of course I know how my letters.
Good. So if we both sit you down at the table opposite each other, I will give you each a piece of parchment from my notebook, and a quill and inks.
Oh,
I'm going to ask you some questions. You will write down the answers down simultaneously. We will then compare these answers just to see if there are any differences therein.
Okie dokie. So you're having to sit directly across from each other on the table?
Yeah, so they can't see what each other's writing, and if that looks like it would be an issue, set up some like wine bottles and candles between them, so it creates a little bit of a screen.
Let me ask you a really important question here. This is a rectangular table or a square table?
Sure. Oh wow, such questions. I'd say it was square because it would be smaller. I think we're not that wealthy.
Okay. All right. So,
but try to create as much of a divide as we can.
Okay. Okay. So there, I'm picturing this. So let's just see how this goes here. They are visibly hostile to each other, but they haven't actually attacked each other. But they're kind of glaring. Both of them are kind of like they're locking eyes. They're really just not taking their eyes off each other at this point.
So, the first request is simple. You shall write 1 on your piece of parchment, and you shall write 2 on yours.
And the one that's 2 is like 2. You think I'm not
Yes.
Amanda? You think I'm not real? Do you really think I'm
Just
fake and that?
write the 2.
And she glares at you from across the table because that's not the one that you have, next to you, and she writes the 2.
So, first of all, I'd like you both to write your full name, including family name.
All right. And they write Amanda Smith because it's going to be Smith, unless there's a German version of Smith.
Smythe.
Schmidt.
Smythe, yeah, Smythe.
Schmidt. Right, Schmidt.
Yeah, Schmidt. Yeah, that's right, Schmidt. So Amanda Schmidt, and they both, as you say, they kind of like cover, but they kind of thing, but they both write, and they both write Amanda Smith.
And now your parents' names,
Right.
in order of preference.
And as he says that, I'm going to step over to Heinrich and whisper to Heinrich, Heinrich, do you remember where Bertram's house is?
I do remember direction pretty well.
Do you think, would you be willing to go and get Bertram and bring him back here? Bertram and Sophia.
I guess so, but it is rather late outside, and I can't go outside by myself.
Hmm. It might be well to have the girls' parents here to help us identify these girls.
My mother said that is when the Protestants are out.
Hmm.
Don't make me go.
It is. It is Sophie. I thought it was Sophie.
It is Sophia. That's Sophia. Yeah.
Okay.
We're sorry, kids. I had to break immersion here, but Jason cannot remember a single name of anything. This entire we've been ribbing him. We've been ribbing him mercilessly about this. Anyhow, back to the story.
So then can I trust you to watch these girls and not let them leave?
I am good with children. I make them cookie.
Good. Now can you make sure they don't leave this house?
I hope that they would not, because it is late and good children do not leave the house late.
Right.
I will try to help them remember.
Thank you.
Jargon.
Hans, I'm going to go and retrieve Bertram and Sophie. I think it would be well to have them here.
Okay. Take your time there. Let's get some questions out of them first of all.
Okay.
So who is actually going to get? Are Jürgen going to get him, or is Heinrich?
I'm going to go get him. I'm going to leave Heinrich to help watch the girls.
Okay. All righty. So it's going to take you a little while, but jeez, good guy. Can't even go there. All right, that's enough of that, kids. The chat. It's a good thing you can't see the chat, kids. All right. So at this point, you notice that both of the girls have written Bertram and Sophie in that same order, as far as the parents' preference.
Okay.
And go ahead, Doctor and Heinrich. We're going to play you out just a little bit longer before we switch over to Jürgen.
Okay. What is your favorite pastry?
Okie dokie. And they both look down and they write, and you look over at the one next to you, number 2, and it is prune strudel. And looking over to the other side, once again, you find prune strudel.
Make a face.
In the meantime,
Goddard, do you have prune? I must make the strudel for little girl. Though I recall I make strudel for little girl once, and she turned out to be evil demon witch. I hope that does not happen again. It was such a pain.
So Heinrich, if you're going to the kitchen, you'll find Gretchen there, and she looks very, very disturbed.
Gretchen, my friend, what is
Yes,
wrong?
Heinrich. I don't understand. The two women, we had the two doctors, the doctor's brother, and now this other woman.
Oh,
I don't understand what's going on.
This is not common in Berlin, Gretchen.
Heinrich. And she looks at you quizzically. Are you all right? What's wrong? Have you been drinking?
I was drinking earlier, yes. I don't remember this cat. I must make strudel for little girls who look alike, Gretchen.
And she's looking at Heinrich, quizzically. Heinrich, I think something's wrong.
What
you don't seem yourself.
Do you mean, good friend?
You don't seem yourself.
I have always been this way. Have I not?
And she kind of looks at you for a second. Yes, I suppose you have, Heinrich. And she gets this kind of really quizzical look on her face. And prunes, you need prunes. Yes. I think we have some here. And she starts looking through the counters, and she says, "Yeah, we have some right here," and she shows you where they are. In the meantime, Jurgen, you're walking back down the street towards Bertram and Sophie's house. And yeah, I couldn't. I looked at the chat. It was too bad. Looking at towards Bertram and Sophie's house, and as you're almost there, you hear a laugh behind you.
Okay. Laugh. High pitched.
It's high pitched. It sounds like a child, and you can hear the pitter patter of feet like slapping against the pavement.
Okay, I'm gonna just stop dead, and very slowly turn to look over my left shoulder.
Some distance away, like definitely, like several storefronts away from where you are, back, the way you came. You see like a figure of a little girl in a nightgown. You just see the back of her, and she just disappears behind like a storefront, like into an alley.
Okay, I will put my hand on the hilt of my new sword, and I will make chase as fast as possible toward that alley.
Okie dokie. So why don't you roll me a D10? I think right now you got about a move of 9. If you roll a 10,
2.
You roll.
I got a 2.
You roll, okay.
2.
And let me okay. So you run as fast as you can. You getting to the alley itself. You can kind of hear like the sound of feet having left it. You're not sure about which way she turned, and you can hear like a laugh. But like it's as if like just when you got in the alley, this person like went out the other end.
Okay. I'm gonna keep going, following the voice and the feet.
Okay. All right. And I'll tell you what, roll me another D10. Let's just see how.
And I want to call out for girl, please, girl. 9.
Okie dokie. And you come out the other end of the alley. You can kind of hear that there's footsteps going left. And you turn left. You can see this figure, like in the distance. She's got quite a lead on you. Like you really think you have this impression that if you both kept running, even though she's a little kid, it'd be kind of difficult to catch her. You might be able to. And she you see this little figure turn around, and it's small. She's a good several distance away from you. And you can see her. You see this big smile, and she laughs, and you can see her eyes just kind of turn this kind of bright red.
Okay. I take a knee and open my arms to her. Girl, come to me, girl. Come to your Uncle Jurgen.
Action. That gets from this. And she starts walking towards you really slowly.
Come. Don't you remember your Uncle Jurgen? Come.
And she's probably about like.
I haven't seen you in so long. Come to me.
She frets about, I can say like a block away from you. You can see. And all of a sudden she shouts, she goes, "No, Jurgen, you're too much fun to play with." And she just dives right through the window of this house. I mean, it doesn't break. It's as if she passed through it like it was nothing.
All right, I'll stand, hand on my hilt. No commotion in the house. I don't hear any following through. Or
the scream is blood curdling that comes from that house.
Okay, I'm gonna go through their door. I'm gonna hit it with all 17 of my strength and go right through the front door of this house.
Yeah, roll me a D. Just roll under your strength.
18. Criminy.
Okay, it's a heavy oak. This is a stuck dungeon door, kids. This is old school. So the door's moving, the frame is moving. You haven't quite broken through yet. The screams on the inside of that house continue.
I'm gonna keep hitting my shoulder into this thing.
Okay, do it again, but add plus one to the roll this time.
Actually, I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna try to dive through the window she went through.
Okay. All right. Let's see how we're gonna adjudicate this. I tell you what, roll me 2d6.
2d6.
Let's
Okay,
take
I'm
this.
gonna have. I literally. Oh wait, yeah. I was gonna say I don't have 2 out. Here we go. I got my old school set of 6. 3.
Well, here's what I'm doing right here, kids. I was talking about using this Apocalypse World mechanic and liking the idea of like a 10 and up is you get exactly what you want. A 7 and 9 is a weak hit, so you get what you want with this complication, and like there's a miss otherwise. So, Jurgen, you get through the window, okay? You get through the window, but in so doing, there was a piece of furniture, like right there. You end up hitting a chair and a table with your head. It's pitch dark in the house. Your foot actually gets caught in the frame of the window, you know. Okay. So and you actually end up cutting yourself. Take 1 hit point of damage.
Okay.
You know, and that's a combination of you cutting your foot, your foot, you know, like bumping and bruising yourself. Your head slams against the table. The chairs kind of go, you know, smashing. So you're inside the house. But it's, you know, it's about as ungracious as you could possibly be.
Okay.
So we're gonna stop. We're gonna leave you right there, like rabbit
rolling
like
on the floor. Rolling on the floor of somebody's living room. Yes, perfect.
Hearing the screams coming from upstairs in the house. Okay, so Doctor, how's the interview going, Doctor?
So I've only got 1 or 2 more questions. I think they're getting quite similar, so I've got to get a little bit more esoteric with this. So one of them will be just testing matching their handwriting, and I'll just tell them to simply write down for me, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
And they both give you this quizzical look, and
please,
they do it.
Give a cursory look over both of them.
It's a little bit different. The one next to you has handwriting that's a little bit more fluid. We'll call her number 2. The one and number 1 has handwriting that's a little bit more crabbed. You know, it's subtle, but you can tell like that they've written that much stuff that there's a trend. Their handwriting is just a little bit different. It's pretty similar, but there's some differences.
So, one more thing for you to do, really, for me. I want you to write for me down every day of the week from today back 7 days, and just in a sentence, just write what you've done.
For 7 days.
7 days. So the same day as today, a week ago, forward. As long as you like. As short as you like. Just summarize your daily activities.
Alrighty, well let's do one thing here too for complete accuracy here. Is I wonder what day of the week it was on January 15th, 1621. Because I lost track of the day. Flew that sucker. But are you with us?
Oh.
There.
I make good prune strudel for little girls who look so much alike. Yes, very much alike. They look just like Hans and other Hans looked. I wonder where he went. Oh well. Little girls, I hope you like the best strudel that there ever was. I could not find any rat hair in this kitchen, but I have made do with the materials at hand.
Well, it is actually a Thursday. The internet is amazing. So both ladies start writing things down. And Thursday, Amanda 1 writes down that she was, that she's here in this godforsaken house. And Friday, and Amanda 2 writes down that she was hiding. She slept in a local church, and then she ended up trying to get back into her house, because every time she tried to go there, this other one would take her out, or try to take her out. Both of them on Wednesday, once again, Wednesday and Tuesday, and Monday. Amanda 1 keeps on writing that she was in her house. She mentions, that she, a couple times that she saw her, this double of hers that she claims. The other one keeps on mentioning that she was, spending time, a couple times she actually went in the house and was chased out by this double. And then it both ends. They both can't remember where they were.
And what day is that? Have the blank?
That was a Sunday. And you realize, this as the story was that on a Friday, she was supposed to have gone over to spend overnight over with friends at Berlin, just simply didn't come home.
Yeah.
So Saturday and Sunday she was missing. Actually came home Mondays, but both of them, neither of them can account for Saturday or Sunday. Both of them almost right down pretty much identical, that they went over to visit their friends in Berlin on Friday. The handwriting inconsistency is still there.
Is it certain letters, certain words that seem to be different?
No, it seems to be more of like the style of the handwriting. One is a little bit more crabbed. The one is a little more crabbed. The other one's a little bit more fluid. But once again, it's really, really subtle.
Could just maybe being cold and left out on the streets kind of maybe affect her handwriting like that.
Who knows? And at this point, they're both getting kind of agitated. Finally, the one next to you just kind of throws down the pen. This is pointless, Doctor. I don't understand. You've got to believe in this. This woman is an imposter. And the other one, it's just looks at her and it's like, I'm no imposter. You're an imposter. You've been trying to get into my house. And the one next to you, Amanda 2, is like, you bitch. You've replaced me. You've replaced me and turned my own parents against me. I don't know where you came from. And at this point, Amanda 1 jumps over the table and begins to throttle Amanda number 2. Amanda number 2 starts to beat on her with her fists, and they're rolling on the table, rolling back into the doctor. Doctor, I need you to make a dexterity check as you try to get out of the way.
Is that rolling under my dexterity?
That would be correct. But I want 3. You to add. Oh, you rolled 3? Okay, you're good then. You managed to just backpedal out of the way at that point, as they are now rolling around on the floor.
I think all strength 6 of me will try to separate them. I don't think this is going to go well.
All righty. And Heinrich, were you still in the kitchen at this point, or have you come back?
But young women, Strudel was supposed to bring us together. You are now apart.
Heinrich, some help! Some help! They're going to kill each other.
Okay. God forgive me, but I must restrain you. And Heinrich goes for. How are they dressed as compared to one another again?
Okay, well, one is in a nightgown and a warm coat. Yes. The other one, on the other hand, is she's in a dress, very warm looking winter dress, and like a black hood, and cowl. That was the one that had actually been spending some time outside. She has boots on. The other one does not.
Which one is throttling the other one currently?
At this point, they are both throttling each other fairly well. They're both like
I'm gonna grab the one in the winter coat and try to restrain her. So, well, no, okay. Young woman, no, and I kind of make a bear hug for her.
Okay, now this is kind of interesting. I want you to go ahead and roll me 2d6. Let's see how this works. So this is
Alrighty. That is an 8.
an 8. Okay. Fantastic. So at this point, you're actually able to get your hands around this woman, the woman in the winter coat. You're able to get around her. But at that point, like, she begins kicking you. And the other woman is now is like really kind of pummeling, on her face. Right. Some of the fists are actually like hitting Heinrich, in the face. You're not actually taking any damage, but it's really getting pretty bad. And Heinrich, you actually end up like, all of a sudden, like, you're able to bring them all up because you're a big guy. And you bring up this mass of woman. Well, and you trip backwards, and now these two combatants are on top of you.
No.
You haven't taken any damage, but you're in that really damning position. So, speaking of really damning positions, Jurgen, you're inside a house. You're hearing screams. Your foot you're just able to get it out of the frame,
I'm going to scramble. I'm going to try to reconnoiter where I'm at as I get up, bleeding, dusting glass off. I'm going to draw my sword, and I'm going to head for the stairwell, yelling,
Okay.
Adeline, come play with me. Your Uncle Morgan misses you. Don't you want to see Heinrich again and the good doctor, Hans? You remember Hans?
And you hear kind of like a laugh. And
for Hans, you loved Hans. As I hopefully get to the stairwell.
Okay. Just as you get to the stairwell, there is this whoosh. Does not look like a person. It's kind of like you can't tell if it was black or bright white or red or what it was. It was just this whoosh of air and energy and just kind of like this feeling. And as it passes you, you almost feel sick to your stomach. It passes right past you. Like it seems to go right through the door of the house. Much better than you went through the door of the house, by the way. It doesn't break the door, just goes right through it. And you kind of hear this like little echoing laugh, and it just fades in the distance. But this thing just went impossibly fast. You've never seen anything move as fast as that just did. And there's dead silence from upstairs.
I think for a second about going upstairs. But then I think better of it. It's best I am not seen here. And I put my sword away, and I go out the window back onto the street.
Okay. Does anybody see you exiting this house? That's the money question. I tell you what, roll me a d6 and just don't roll a 1.
4.
Okay. As you get out, the streets are deserted.
Okay. And I will, as quick as I possibly can, head toward Bertram's house.
Okay. This is taking some time. If you're able to get to Bertram's house, the door is still unlocked.
Okay.
About that.
I'm going to approach as quietly as I can. And I'm gonna again get into their home. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna stop briefly and listen, and try to, as quickly as possible, discern if anyone is awake.
It doesn't appear that anybody's awake.
Okay, so no servants. I don't hear servants banging around, anything like that.
No.
Okay, and then I want to. We have been in the morning room, correct?
Right.
Was there a desk or a writing desk or the gentleman's desk in the morning room?
Yeah.
There was a gentleman's desk, like a business desk.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to that desk. I'd like to spend some time searching his desk for the deed to our house.
Okie dokie. Let's see. This desk itself. Is it locked? That is an excellent question. We'll be charitable. Desk is not locked. So you're actually able to go in. You're able to rifle through some papers. And after some time, you can see deeds to several houses, and you start to realize this man has quite a bit of property. I mean, he's certainly not a baron, but you're surprised at the number of properties he owns deeds to. You know, as far as you knew, like the guy owns like a little like tobacco and spice shop. You know, it seems to be like, you know, well-to-do merchant, but you realize this man actually has quite a few properties, and you're able to find the deed to your house in this
Okay. Okay. I'm going to search through it for an obscure property, something small and maybe on the outskirts of Berlin.
Okay, like what's your intention? Like what are you really kind of looking for?
The deed to a smaller home outside of Berlin if he's got a property.
The one thing that's kind of difficult is like you're not really sure of all the streets and addresses.
Okay, then I'll guess. I'll just take one that one that is not ours, but I will take it.
Right. Okay.
I also want to search to see if there's a signet ring or something that he uses, maybe as a stamp or a seal, like wax seal.
Right. Yeah, you're actually able to find a little seal like that, but you can see also that, you know, he's signing all of these documents as well. But yeah, he has a little signet, like a little stamp.
Okay.
With like some kind of emblem in it, like, you know, family crest, that sort of thing.
Okay. And then I will. Is his signature on the deed that I have?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. And I will take those things and I will put everything back best I can. Then I will go return to the foyer, and then I will rouse Bertram.
Okay, that's fairly easy to do. You know, he gets up. He gets up. What is it? What is it? What has happened?
You and your mistress of the house must come with me back to your property. We have both the girls. We need you to help identify which one is your daughter.
Both girls. There really is somebody looks like her, and you can hear his wife rousing. The two of them talk for a moment, and so they seem quite shaken up.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
but they agree to come with you.
There are two, and I stop and look at them both in the eye, and we may be playing with very dangerous supernatural powers here. So you must remain focused, and you must do your best to identify the right girl. Do you understand?
And you know, the woman is like kind of crying at this point, and the man's like, yes, I understand.
This could be incredibly dangerous. You must understand that. And then I will lead them back toward our home as quickly as possible.
And right before you leave the house, the man, they light some candles, they get their things together. And Bertram takes a look at you and what has happened to you?
I have already had a run-in with some supernatural creature this morning, as a matter of fact.
Oh, good heavens.
Related to your problem, but there are foul things in the world, Mr. Bertram. You live in an exclusive world. You live in a world that's safe from most of these things, but I assure you now, it has come to your home.
Good heavens. And they're just about to leave it, and he says, just allow me 1 minute. And he goes back to this little cabinet in the parlor room area, takes out this chain with this crucifix on it, puts it on himself, doesn't get one for his wife, but puts it on himself, has it just exposed, and he puts his arm around his wife. Come, dear, let's go. And so they follow you out of the house.
Okay. And so I'll lead them.
Okay. Lead them back to the house. In the meantime, how are things going back at the ranch? Well, so Dr. Hans Fleischer, you at this point, Goddard has kind of run into the room like, good heavens, what's going on?
Separate these girls, Goddard. It's like my university days all over again.
Hey, are you mad? I'm an old man.
Yes, quite.
You guys don't pay me enough for this.
Rouse Otto.
And so he goes upstairs, you know, to fetch Otto, and you can hear Otto like, "What is it? What is it now?" You know, the girls are fighting. In the meantime, you know, they're rolling around on the floor with Heinrich. Is Heinrich still holding on?
You are only supposed to do this if you read Bible and whip me. Oh, get off of me! This is not appropriate behavior. You are supposed to eat strudel, not smother, Heinrich. Please stop. You are hitting me in the face. Oh.
And Heinrich is so upset he's breaking up. It's amazing. It's actually interfering with his broadcast. Just he's so upset. So, and you haven't seen Gretchen at all during this entire thing. She probably, God knows where she's gone to.
I'll try my best to peel one of the girls off Heinrich, but I'll probably get slapped back or whatever.
Go ahead. Go ahead and roll 2d6 too. Let's see what happens. What could possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong? Is double 6 good or bad?
Double, so you got a 12?
Yeah.
Whoa! You're a hero. You're actually able to.
Yay!
Let's see. Well, roll d6 odds evens. Let's see which one you get.
Odd.
Odd. So you managed to actually peel off number one, the woman in the coat and the nightgown, because in that time that Heinrich was holding on to her, you know, all kinds of mayhem has happened. So he's just managed to kind of sort of be under one or the other of them at any given time. She's actually able to pull her off. She's kicking and screaming.
This is not the behavior befitting a woman.
And you hear Gretchen, like, you know, shouting from the other room. Can I help, Doctor?
Please, you may have more familiarity with the situation than I would.
And so Gretchen comes up from the kitchen. She's got a rolling pin in her hand. You know, is this Heinrich's rolling pin? Nobody has any idea. But she looks from woman to woman, and she whacks the one that you're holding over the head.
I kind of let her go.
And so, did you say you let her go?
Yeah, I let go of the Gretchen.
Well, she drops. The woman drops like a sack of potatoes, right? Like, boom, knocked out cold.
I'll check if she's alive.
Okay. So she's taking a nasty bump to the head.
It is to make the loaf of strudel. Do not do that to a rolling pin.
Yeah. Josh, you might want to try to sign out and sign back in, because you are stuttering a little bit, so your connection may be freaking out a little bit here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just noticed that you did that, so we're gonna.
Just a second.
Okie dokie. Well, yes, you've dropped her like a sack of potatoes, which was, or Gretchen has dropped her like a sack of potatoes, but you let go. You're actually checking.
Yeah,
this young woman. She's breathing. She's breathing. You know, there's already a lump forming on her head from being clocked so hard.
That wasn't quite what I meant, Gretchen, but as you were.
All right, Doctor. She just looked awfully aggressive. I thought she was going to hurt you.
Yes. Well, thank you. Yes, and I sort of put her into a recovery position as best I can, and see how Heinrich is dealing with the other one.
Heinrich, what's going on?
He is very strong.
Okay, at this point, I want you to make an opposed D20 roll with this young lady. So, and I would add your attack bonus, and your strength bonus and your dexterity bonus to this. So just add all of that to it. So you're gonna.
Okay.
Add
in that case, adding all that is a 17.
Okie dokie. Let's see what she rolls here. She actually slips out of your grasp.
Whoa!
You know, extremely, you know, and
woman,
she heads right to the prone figure of the other woman.
Can I try and sort of throw myself in the way as best I can?
Okie dokie. All you need to do is make one of those opposed checks.
Okay.
And
So,
of course, you on the other hand would be rolling, adding nothing to your d20 roll.
Okay.
Because
11.
of the way you're 11. You actually managed to get right in front of her. She is much stronger than you would think a little slight woman would be.
I'm just much weaker.
Okay, but you just managed to get your body right in front of her, and she's like, "Let me go! Let me go!"
We need to be calm about this situation, otherwise there's a rather angry German woman with a rolling pin right behind you.
Alrighty. And at that point,
can we not be civil?
Okay. And the rolling pin swishes. It misses, but like it just missed both your heads. Like I just went right over both of your heads.
And seeing that happen, I'll look to Amanda too. I go, do you want her to hit next time?
Heinrich?
No, do not fight with rolling pin. I will take that now. And he runs up and he tries to seize the rolling pin because it is an affront to his value system, this thing that is happening.
And Gretchen kind of looks at you for a second, like it looks like she was really intent on, clobbering something with this, but she goes, "Oh yes, I'm sorry. Of course, Heinrich. It just seemed like that woman.
Do not
seems so dangerous.
Do not get blood on this. This is important to me. Thank you. You can fight with something else."
Oh, this is all just very queer. This is all just very queer. And Gretchen just looks down at the woman that's still prone on the ground. I don't know, but I think that's the witch, don't you? She just seems so aggressive. I don't know much about this kind of thing, but if there's a witch, if what you were saying is true, I bet you, I swear that's one. That's the one, don't you think? Don't you think, Heinrich?
Rational heads prevail, please.
I think we should let good Jürgen decide, for he is a real witch hunter, and he will be back soon.
And right about that time, it's been about 50 minutes. And Heinrich, you all of a sudden begin to feel much smarter. And you're kind of propelled right back to this kind of default state that you have now with this rather high intelligence. But
and I am fully confident that when he returns, he will properly diagnose this situation, my friends. Absolutely.
I'm going to need some wine.
Gretchen kind of looks at you like perplexed at that point, and then says, "Oh, yes, of course, doctor. I'll get some wine right away." Goddard and Otto are coming downstairs. They just stop. They haven't even entered, the room. And the young woman that was wrestling with the doctor, trying to kill the prone figure, still obviously very kind of intent on beating the piss out of this other woman, and look kind of like nodding and with when Gretchen was saying, "I bet you that's the one on the floor." When Heinrich changes, she's just kind of like where her head whips around and she gets this quizzical look. And almost just like forgets everything she's doing at that moment.
Heinrich, please escort Amanda to the table to sit down, please. Please.
Yes, indeed. It appears some of this strudel is salvageable. So come here, young lady. Let's get a little bit of food. You're not yourself when you're hungry, so let's remedy that. Yes.
And she just looks at the doctor. Looks at Heinrich. Looks over to Goddard and said, "What the hell is going on?" And at that moment, Jürgen and her parents walk in, or the parents,
I will assess the table, which is upturned. I will assess the body on the floor, and I will look about. So we know who the witch is.
Not yet.
Then why do
But
we
they're
have,
both very attached to their identities.
and then I will step aside and make way for Bertram and his wife, and I will pick up the upturned chairs, set them in, and ask Bertram and Sophie, please have a seat.
And they both walk in and they both shout Amanda, but you realize they're both looking at different women. And Sophie shouts Amanda, and she starts crying, and she's running over to the prone floor on the ground, whereas Bertram goes Amanda, and goes over and embraces the young woman dressed in the black hood. I'm so glad you're okay. And they in the meantime, he just looks over and sees his wife, who is on the ground, and Bertram is now looking from the woman he's holding, and the woman on the ground. And he looks at Jurgen and says, what black magic is this?
It may well be black magic. And you will have to both work together to help us decide who is your daughter. But I want you to know this. I will kill the one that you decide is not.
Good heavens. And the man kind of like turns like ashen white. He looks at the woman, he's holding this young woman that, he recognizes his daughter, just grabbing her, and looks at her and just kind of like backs away. Just the other, his wife, Sophie, is still sobbing kind of unconsolably over the unconscious body of her daughter.
I will walk over and help her up to her feet, even if she doesn't necessarily want to get up to her feet. And I will usher her over and sit her down. And I will step to Bertram and grab his crucifix and look at his crucifix and look him in the eye and say, this is not the time to lose your composure, sir. So call on your false god. But you need to identify which girl is yours. Have a seat.
He looks from one to one, and he goes, and finally, his wife was like, well, that's what Amanda was wearing tonight. Let's see. You can hear kind of like sounds of like moaning, but this young woman has not actually regained consciousness yet.
Can I maybe find some smelling salts or something? Try and get her back.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, you're able to.
I'll try to do that.
You're able to get to arouse her, and she just starts to come to her feet a little bit. Gretchen has brought out wine for everybody at this point, but has retreated back into the kitchen. Young Otto has gone back into the kitchen with Gretchen, but Goddard, on the other hand, is kind of just sort of in that doorway, just watching very intently.
Mm-hmm.
And he switched from tea to a glass of sherry himself. Sat down.
And I will approach Goddard and say, Goddard, why don't you return to your room? And as I speak to him, I will slide into his possession the deed and the from my jerkin, the deed to the home I stole, and the stamp. Right. And I'll kind of push him to go back to his room. We will talk further later, Goddard.
Goddard locks eyes with you for a second, and you can see like almost a wry smile over his face.
Okay.
But just a hint of one. He says, "Of course, sir." And taking the glass of sherry with him, he goes upstairs.
Good, Goddard. In the morning. And then I will turn around to the couple again, Bertram and Sophie. So there is one other task we can do to identify a witch, which I have not tried yet, which I think we should try first. But I'm not certain they are a witch. So it will take something other than, but running water over one of the girls.
Running water?
Yes. So I will go over to our pail of water, our bucket of water, and get a cup of that. And then I'm going to pour it over one of the girls' legs, head, something, and see if I get any response other than just a splash of cold water.
Yeah. Which one?
The one that was unconscious on the floor.
Right. And she jumps a little bit, you know, and,
Nope.
and looks at you once again. Are you crazy? But nothing, more than the indignation of somebody that's just been taken out of their home in the middle of the night, not allowed to change, made to walk through the snow in slippers, and then had cold water poured on them.
Okay. And then I'll go back over to the bucket, dish another cup, and I will just fling it, splash it in the face of the other.
And she looks at you, and she flinches, but she fumes. She looks at you like, you're mad, sir. In the meantime, Bertram is like, good heavens, sir. How are we to choose? Are you going to torture them to death?
Is that what you want me to do? Would that help you? Would that help you identify your daughter, Bertram?
Maybe they should both make cases for their existence.
Cases for their existence? I don't understand.
There's a rather interesting philosophical question being raised here. I see two people who both think they're equally the same person, who both believe they have an equal right to exist. Who are we to judge who has the right of it?
And what do you propose to do? How do you propose that? How do you propose to have them prove that? And you can tell that, like, Bertram seems to be a man of some intelligence. His wife is looking completely puzzled, and both the Manas are looking a little bit bemused at this point in time, which sounds very sexist, but that's not what I mean. So Bertram is kind of like the lights going on in Bertram's eyes, like he's kind of understanding.
I'll pass him the two, if I can find them on the floor, the two written tests that I've had the girls do. And I'll just say, is there any chance you recognize your daughter's hand in any of these? And I'll just pass him the parchment. And he's got, other than 1 and 2 written on them, like, there's no indication of, like, the most identical apart from the slightly different handwriting, I think. So.
Right. Okie dokie. Now, let's see. Let me just make up a little thing here. Let's find out what he thinks. He looks at both sets of handwriting. He's like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And he looks over one for a second, the one that the first girl wrote, with the kind of crabbed hand, and he starts to like, and then he looks back at the more fluid one, and you can tell he's just torn. He rolled a 3. He's in the middle. He's not sure.
And I'll look to Sophie and say, perhaps you may have had more influence over your daughter's handwriting.
And she shakes a little bit, but she looks and she looks over the two letters, and she's having the same response. She looks at one, and then she's looking at the other, and oh, good God, doctor, don't make me choose. What if it's the wrong one?
Yes, that is the problem. I don't believe either is a witch, but one of them is the result of witchcraft.
Now you. So, I will turn to both of the Amandas and look at both of them. If they're not looking at me, I will get their attention. Right. You must think, where were you at before your memory went?
And they both start to answer at once. So I went to my friend's house, and they said, would you shut up? And they're almost simultaneously talking to each other.
Your friend, where is your friend's house?
On the other side of Berlin. It's going over to my friend's Martha's and Ingrid's house. And the first one's, the one number 1 is starting, and the other one's like,
can you
finally gives up. What was that?
Can you take us there?
Right now?
Yes.
Right now?
One of your lives depend on it. Maybe both of your lives.
Of course I can take you there. And the other number 2 says that. And they're glaring at each other.
Okay.
And number 1 finally looks at you. It's like, am I allowed to put on some real clothes, or are you going to be traipsing around Berlin in my nightgown all night?
Yes. And I'll call Gretchen out, and when she comes into the room, I'll say, "Get the girl some clothes." And I'll look at Hans, Bertram, etc. You may well be right.
Could I suggest maybe a red ribbon and a blue ribbon?
Sure. Well,
I make things easier.
You've cut them both, right, Doc?
Yes.
Yes.
And Gretchen walks in, and she just pokes her head in for a second. You tell her to go get her some clothes, and the woman in the nightgown kind of looks up for a second, and she says, "Oh my God, that's her! That's her!"
Looking at Gretchen?
Yeah, that's the woman that was at my friend's house the other day.
What? What is your job, Gretchen?
My job? And Gretchen's looking at you.
This job that you leave the house for. What town do you live in?
I clean other houses. I do scullery work, sir.
Is that right? Why does she recognize you? Have you done scullery work at her house before? Or
not at her house.
Have you seen her at anyone else's house?
I can't say so, sir. But I've worked in a lot of houses all over Berlin. And the woman was like, "You were over at that house that night."
What was the name of your friends again, Amanda?
Oh man, it was a long time before I said those names. it was Martha and
Ingram.
Yeah, and Martha and Ingrid. Wow! Oh my God! The person who remembered the names was yeah.
Do you work for them? Do they sound familiar, Gretchen?
Gretchen says, "Oh, I think I've worked for them before. Yeah, those names sound familiar."
Have you noticed anything strange in those homes?
Strange? I can't say. Maybe. I mean, they're a little odd, but lots of people around Berlin are odd. You don't think they might have had something to do with that? Do you?
Gretchen, you wouldn't mind awfully if we had Jürgen do 1 or 2 of his witch finding tests on you, just to eliminate any possibilities. That's all. Peace of mind, that sort of thing.
And she looks at you like quizzically. It's like, "Hey, go right ahead, doctor. I don't mind."
Jürgen?
So I'll come over and grab Gretchen around the shoulders, comfortably, nicely, and I'll bring her over to the bucket of water, and I'll push her head over it, and I'll pour water over her head back into the bucket and see if I get a response.
And she looks like that's, like just kind of with indignation. "That's awful cold, sir."
All right, and then I'll look around the floor where the bag of glass had been upturned during the fight, and when I'll pick it up and I'll shake it and rattle it in her face and see if I get any response.
And she looks at you, and she's like, "Is this how you discover witches, sir?"
It is known to work. It has worked in the past, but not on every witch. There have been many we've had to burn at the stake that didn't respond to these tests. Hans, I don't think she is.
Just have to eliminate some possibilities.
But remember, I have forsaken my God, so maybe my power to identify witches went with that.
Oh, that might be something useful to bear in mind. So, Gretchen, do you recall seeing this young lady whilst you were cleaning these houses? And did you notice anything unusual?
Well, those Martha and Ingrid, they were kind of odd girls. Maybe you should do those tests on them, but I can't remember if I saw this young lady or not. And Amanda won. Amanda Ein. It's like, you were there. I remember that. You were there that night.
Did you speak to Gretchen?
And she's like, I said, I don't remember. I remember there was somebody else over there besides Martha and Ingrid, but I can't remember the rest of it. I don't know.
But you, indicating Amanda too, don't remember her.
She looks at you. Of course I remember. It's somebody, might have looked like her, but I don't think it was her. I would have recognized her right away when I came here.
Interesting. You know, Jürgen, you might be right. We might have to go across Berlin and interview these young girls at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning.
Yes. I'm going to look at Bertram and Sophie and tell them I suppose it is best you go home. Get about your day. It is conceivable that you may have gone to bed with one daughter, and today you will have two.
And so this is too much for Sophie, who is now breaking down and crying. And Bertram, so how can we possibly go about our day? I don't understand.
I would like to send one of the girls home with you, but we don't know yet if you are safe with these girls. But it's conceivable. Once we finish our investigation, you may have two daughters.
And so Sophie, Amanda number 2, starts to walk over. She's closest to her father, and says, "Okay, I'll go home with you now, Father." And the other one shrieks, and says, "You will not! You've been trying to get into the house all week long." And the first just starts shouting, "Only because you've kept me locked out."
Well, they can't stay here.
And shrieking, they like just converge upon each other.
No.
Not with me there, they are. I'll stop them both. And I'll mark them down. That's it. That's enough.
Well,
We have to learn to live together. You may be sisters now. Gretchen, you will come with us to Martha and Ingrid's, Gretchen. I don't know what we do.
Of course, sir.
Bertram, are you capable of watching these girls?
Both of them?
Christ, man, they're your daughter.
And he looks at and he puts into reaches into his jacket and he pulls out like a flintlock, like a little flintlock pistol. He goes, "If I have to."
Yes, you have to.
Okay.
There is an alternative. We could sedate them.
That might be wise anyway. Perhaps we should have done that a long time ago, Hans.
So the young girl in the coat and the nightgown says, "I'm not going to take any of that laudanum. She'll kill me in my sleep." And the other one says, "Go sedate." What do you mean sedating him? You're not going to knock me out, doctor.
Well, it's clear you're going to
kill me.
Kill each other either way.
All right. And so with much struggle and yelling and cursing and attempts to bite your fingers, you're able, with the brute strength of Heinrich and Jürgen, you're able to actually give both these women quite a bit of laudanum to the point where they're just about immobile.
You may have to watch them here, unfortunately, Master Bertram.
Oh, wait, I think I can do that. I can't imagine that I would be able to get anything done today.
Then you are welcome in your own home, considering you own this home. Goodard and Otto will be at your service if you need them, Bertram.
Thank you. And Goddard comes up and I asks, I suggest you leave some more of that here in case we need to sedate them further. Doctor, how much should I give them so I don't kill them?
I seem to have popped it in my pocket. Sorry. I'll there. How do I put it on the table? Very astute, Goddard.
So, giving him some instructions so he doesn't actually kill them.
Yeah.
You're able to give him,
Just small drafts with some wine.
With some wine, sir. Okay.
And then I will tell Gretchen, grab a coat, girl. You are taking us to Martha and Ingrid's. And then I'm going to walk over to Hans at some point. Hans, in all of this that you have, there is not someone to use your magic to identify whether these girls are legitimate or Gretchen.
My magic is limited in that capacity. I cannot get a read on. I can't detect. I can't identify magic, unfortunately. Would that I could.
And you've not read anything about this aside from your simulacrum.
No. My magic is very specific. Communication with the dead, some elemental mastery over earth, the creation of duplicates, but not the detection or undoing of such. And a few other things I've picked up from that book you kindly translated for me, but they seem to be the creation of illusions and lights rather than the detection thereof.
Then we're going to have to continue doing this the hard way.
Heinrich is studying that watch again. Is this watch still telling accurate time? You said it was still ticking.
It is still ticking, yes.
Does it seem to be telling accurate time? Like, is it wound up to the current time that we are at?
Assuming that you're winding it up all the time, when you're in your right mind, yeah, or whatever kind of mind that is, yeah, it seems to be quite accurate.
I wonder, friends. I wonder if when this young lady went into this house, if time started to affect her differently. If my watch would tell different time in this house, or perhaps in the presence of the one who is not in the right time.
Perhaps.
And right there, as you guys are planning to leave, you hear a knock on the door. Heinrich, are you there?
Yes.
We need the witch hunter, Heinrich.
Oh goodness. Yes, my apprentice and I will come.
Jurgen, can't believe it. Witch hunter now, Heinrich.
Keeping my saber and crossbow. And so he's still got the chain on the door. Yes.
There's nobody there.
Nobody there. Did you just say nobody there?
Nobody there.
Jurgen, you heard the voice, right?
Yes, I think I did.
Something is going on, Jurgen. Did you run into something out there?
So I'll go to the door, unchain the door, and look out in the streets. Do I hear commotion, rouse, yelling, anything?
Well, let's see. What time is it now, do we suppose?
It
is, at this point, it's probably about 7 o'clock in the morning. You don't really hear a commotion now, as a matter of fact.
Then I just turn to Heinrich and say, then we are not responsible to do any witch hunting.
No, not right now. I don't have a good feeling about that. I almost feel like this is a trick of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if it's related to the incident that we're investigating.
Could be. And where's Gretchen?
Where is she?
Oh, Gretchen's with you guys. She's waiting to go out.
lead us, girl, to this house. And
Oh, of course, sir.
it will be in your best interest on our walk over to dig deep into your memory of what you've seen with these working for these people, and to come clean if you know something that you are not sharing.
She said, right? She goes, yeah, they seemed a little peculiar, but nothing too strange. Just kind of, you know how rich people are sometimes.
And why
A little
did
peculiar.
why did these girls claim to have seen you there, and you not
I'm
them?
sorry?
These girls claim to have seen you there, but you not them.
I might have seen somebody that looked like her, sir, but I don't always pay attention to or I don't have to interact with the other people there. I'm really not paid to do that. I'm supposed to be cleaning the house. You know, we're supposed to be seen and not, you know, not heard. We're not really supposed to be seen. We're supposed to be invisible.
Good. Just no fear. I just want to make sure you are not embroiled in this dark magic.
No, sir. I'm completely loyal to you. I mean, I thank God that you saved me. And thank God every day that you got me out of there.
Good. Then you can help us. And as we walk, I want to tell Hans and Heinrich that I had an encounter with Adeline.
She's here then.
And she is of a state I don't believe we can defeat on our own.
That voice we heard at the door, do you think it was hers? It did not sound like her to me.
I don't know. But
Sound like a man.
She is of a supernatural power of something I have never faced before.
Do you think she could be? Oh, sorry.
Have the witches you faced had the ability to disguise their voices, Kerrigan?
Of course, witches can do anything. I think they're playing with your mind, Heinrich.
Well, clearly someone is doing something. I remember everything that has happened, but there are small discrepancies between what you tell me and what I remember.
Yes. If I was not close with Hans here, I would suspect Hans might be behind it. But I trust Hans. So yes, witches can do anything.
I will continue to study this watch along the way, although I know nothing of it. Very, very little of watches. It is remarkable how it still functions. Quite remarkable.
And then we'll just follow her across. We'll follow her across Berlin.
Right. You do not go past the house that you were in last night. You end up going some way across Berlin. You actually go past let's see. You go past Mulberry Street at one point, and you realize this is the street of that house that the deed you grabbed is on. Okay. And you pass this very nice looking little house. You know, it's about comparable size to where you live. It's probably a little bit nicer.
Good.
You can't really tell if it's occupied or not, but you pass this house. You know, what they call it, 123 Mulberry Street.
Okay. I make I do slow my pace and look it over thoroughly. But I don't say anything to my colleagues.
You think witches might be in there?
No, I rather fancy that property, Hans.
Yeah, and it looks like quite a nice property. It looks like as you get closer to it, it's definitely a little bit bigger than where you live now. Not tremendously. Looks fairly nice.
Hans, I predict we will own that home shortly.
Well, I just want somewhere where I've got room to actually practice my my medicine. I don't have to do bloodletting in the living room.
Yes. Well, how do you like this property, Hans? Would you like to own this property?
I'd have to have a look on the inside, I think.
Well, beggars cannot be choosers.
Well, I've spent my life renting apartments and flop houses. Such things are beyond my means.
Well, I'm hoping we will have obtained this property soon.
And Gretchen kind of looks at you like with this respect.
Don't ask questions, though, gentlemen. The less you know, the better.
See, that's what I've been saying for a while.
And Gretchen looks as though she was about to ask Jurgen something, and then just stops when he says don't ask questions, and keeps leading. And it takes a little while. You go a good chunk of the way across Berlin. But clearly something she can do in the course of a day and still get home. So a couple hours of walking up and down streets. It's something that would take you a while to remember how to get back. You're kind of keeping a mental note of it. But she's clearly walked this street before. And you finally get to another, actually, rather very nice house, a little bit more in a line with what Bertram and Sophie actually live in.
Okay.
Sort of like a townhouse, if you will, that sort of thing.
When she points it out, I'm going to pull her aside. Now, who do you deal with when you're here, Gretchen?
Oh, usually I deal with Martha.
Martha. No one else. No other maids, no other butlers, no other servants.
I deal with Martha and Ingrid. Both their parents are deceased.
They,
they're I don't want to call them old maids, sir. That's not very polite, but you could tell that they're comfortable. I don't know if they have gentlemen callers or what they have there, but they have some servants that come and go, but they seem to like their time alone.
So when you're there, are you generally there alone?
Oh, they're there usually.
So you do not enter through a servant's entrance?
Not usually, sir. They usually let me right in. They're actually quite friendly.
Good. Well, gentlemen, what is our next move? Thank you, Gretchen.
Seems... I don't know if it seems suspicious or not. These are older women then, Gretchen?
Well, I don't know if I call them older, Doctor. She was, she said, well, Martha's the oldest, and she's, well,
are they of an age of Amanda?
Well, Ingrid's a little bit closer. I'd say Ingrid is probably late 20s. But Amanda looks like she might be, I don't know, maybe my age, 23, 24, something like that. So I know that Martha's in her 30s, but they're not old. But
are they sisters?
Yes.
Are they in society in any way? Social functions, balls, galas, that kind of thing?
Oh, I don't ask them that kind of stuff, sir.
Is there another entrance into the home that is not the front door?
Oh, yeah, there's a back door, sir.
Good. Now listen, and listen carefully. I want you to go to work. Are you supposed to be at work today at any time with these ladies?
Well, I'm not supposed to be there today at all, sir.
Then you will have to get in on pretense. Do you understand? Perhaps
you lie to them, sir?
Yes, Gretchen. Perhaps you have lost a locket, and you're looking for it. And we're gonna.
Okay, sir.
I'm gonna need you to let us in the back door.
I could do that, sir. I could do that.
Good. Now don't, of course, let Martha and Ingrid. Is that understood?
Don't let them what, sir?
See you letting us in the back door.
Oh, of course not, sir. But I should go in the front door, sir, right?
Yes, you are going to tell them under pretense that you need to look for a locket or something you may have lost while working. Yes?
Right. I can do that, sir.
Yes. Let us in the back door when they are not watching, and then you will head home. We will talk to Martha and Ingrid. Understood?
So, yes, so let him go, but don't let you in under any circumstances. You catch that movie reference? You catch that movie reference? All right, that was just terrible. Okay, so that was awful. I'm sorry. So she goes up to the front door. She knocks. At a moment, I forget which Monty Python or what the hell it was. That's awful. It's classic D&D, kids. You get a Monty Python reference whether you want one or not. Very immersive. Very immersive.
So, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So she knocks the door. You see a woman that's clearly in her like mid-30s. Open the door. Very nicely dressed. And she smiles, and you can see them exchanging kind of niceties. And woman says, "Oh, of course, come on in, sweetie." And she lets her in.
And then I'm going to look at Hans and Heinrich, and I'm going to tell them I'm headed to the back door. Coming?
Ivan, can I cast a spell from a spell book? Or do I need to somehow integrate the spell into my brain or some such?
I'm going to say at this point, what you can do is you can try to cast it unmemorized, but of course you're going to have to make a saving throw.
Yeah,
and
why not?
if you fail a saving throw, then you're rolling on that awful miscast table.
So, and I'll say to this, I'm going to attempt a more arcane mean of infiltration.
Right.
And I'll sort of slink into an alleyway, open up Strauss's book, thumb through the pages, and find the invisibility spell.
Really? Okay. Well, then what I need you to do is make a saving throw versus magic.
Oh boy.
Okay.
And hold on for 1 second. Hold on.
Okay.
I want to make sure there's not another. I gotta go actually get the reference book here. Although I might have it in the document. Let's be clear here. What might actually happen? Yeah. Never know. Because I don't want to just kind of hand wave this.
It's much too fun.
No, I'm looking for my note here about this. And of course, after all this, it might not really amount to anything. But let's just take a look at this.
I've been waiting for sessions for Hans to light his hair on fire. Something.
Something. Yeah, I know.
Tentacles out of my stomach seems to be the flavor of the month. So.
That's right.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true.
Yeah, the other Hans clearly was more adventurous with his magic.
Fortune favors the bold, right?
Yeah. Let me just see if I. Gosh, I'm looking for the correct document here because I thought I had it printed out. So forgive me. I'll just open this one up on this other thing here. Okay, let's see. Oh man, I'm looking for this. No, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, sorry. But I believe at this point you're going to roll. You're going to roll a saving throw first. So it's.
Are we bearing witness to
Okay, you're rolling a saving throw versus magic.
Okay.
But you're actually going to subtract 1 from your die roll because you actually have 2 things. You're casting a spell. Yeah, you're casting a spell that hasn't been prepared, and you're casting a spell from somebody else's spell book as well.
Okay. Right. Okay. So I rolled a 16, so I just subtract the 1 from that. Yeah.
That's correct. So
Okay.
you actually make your saving throw, don't you?
So with saving throws, do I have to roll over or under them? So I know with most of you roll under.
Over.
It's over for saving. Okay.
Yeah.
I was panicking then because I had a 14 on my magic. So.
This is terrible. This is terrible. He still hasn't screwed
Those
stuff up.
unified dice mechanics that came about later on, right?
Love it.
Right. Exactly. So you are actually able to. You're actually able to cast invisibility successfully, and this will last for. How long will this last? It's been so long since I've actually.
So I am
1 turn a level. So
1 turn level. So it's actually gonna last. That's 30. That's 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. So a
That's
turn
not bad.
is okay.
Yeah.
A turn is 10 minutes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because some spells are round, so a turn is longer than a round.
There you go. That's funny.
Right.
I imagine as I cross the street to go down the alley to go around to the back door, and I look back at my friends, I notice Hans is vanished.
I'm kind of motioning to Jurgen. I'm like, Jurgen, good doctor has magicked himself into an invisible space. I must ask, would it be preferable for me to actually accompany you, or should I watch the front door in case the evil witches try to escape?
Yes. Hans, are you there? Hans, where are you? Hans, are you about?
Yes. I'm here.
Okay. Where are you? What is your intent?
I'm just going to follow you and then maybe have a look around unseen. As long as I don't attempt anything too bold or too vigorous, this invisibility should shield me.
So, yes, Heinrich, great. I think that's a good idea. You watch the front door.
Yes.
I will go around to the back with Hans. We might let Hans in, and then he can let me know if it's safe, if it's clear. Okay, good. I will come to the front door when we are successful. Yes.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Are there any hedges or anything that I can sort of duck behind and not be too conspicuous?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm going to have the crossbow at the ready, and I'm going to just kind of hunker down, just in case some evil monster appears.
Okay.
This is home invasion D&D style, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay. So you're actually waiting outside? Is that correct, Heinrich?
What?
Okay, so Heinrich's waiting outside. She actually lets you in without a problem. Okay, I found the little thing here. I'm sorry about that. So it takes about 15 minutes after she comes in before she actually comes out to the back door. She lets you in, Jurgen, and
Where are they? I stop her before she leaves. Where are they, Gretchen?
she's they're upstairs right now, sir.
Good. Now go home, straight home.
Don't stay here, sir.
No.
All right, sir. And she takes off.
Okay. Hans, where are you?
I'm here, like your conscience.
All right. Oh, you do not want to be there, my friend. Then lead the way. Can you find them and tell me the situation?
Right. I'll go upstairs then.
So I'll enter the house and I'll shut the door, bolt the door, and then I'm gonna go to the stairwell and wait at the bottom of the stairwell for Hans to return.
And I'll head up the stairs.
Okay. So let's see. What kind of stealth do you have, actually?
I can hear the floorboards now.
So I think 1 in 6, isn't it? If you have no stealth.
I'll tell you what. Just don't roll a 6.
Funny thing you should say that. If you can
Really? That's fantastic.
every floorboard. No, I have a child. I know what it's like trying to move around the house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to come home. This is terrible. I used to come home late at night when I was younger, and I'm out partying or whatever way back in the day. And I'd crash over my grandmother's house, and it was this one step. And I always try to remember which one it was, and I always screwed up, and I always hit that step, and she'd hear me every time. So anyhow, roll me another d6 to figure out how badly you were unstealthy.
You're listening.
5.
A 5. So you're going up those stairs, and there's that.
I think you just hear bloody hell.
And with the bloody hell, now you hear a woman's voice, Gretchen. And you see also at the top of the stairs, you see Heinrich, the form of a woman, and it's clearly Martha, the older one. Gretchen, was that you? And she goes, Ingrid. What? He goes, I thought I heard somebody.
So I step back away from the stairwell and go, yes, Martha.
And Martha just goes, looks like she goes, oh my God, someone's in the house. And Hans can see both of them kind of bolting.
Well, I'm going to sit in front of the stairwell, so they can't. They're going to have to go through me to come down the stairs.
They both actually go on retreated back. Into, you can hear like a door slam upstairs. So they did not go downstairs. They ran further upstairs and slammed themselves in the room.
To sprint up the stairs, hoping I probably will run Hans over along the way.
Don't mind me.
Because I can't see him. And I'm gonna try every door on my way down the hall. Hans,
okay.
Come. Get Heinrich.
Fine, and I'll get onto the front door and undo it and unlock it.
Okay, and then what are you doing? As Jurgen's going, Jurgen, you've tried one door, nobody's in there. You see finally got an empty bedroom. You try the next door, and it's clearly locked.
Okay.
And Hans, what are you doing outside? The door is just sprung open. Let's just see if anybody's seen this door just spring open by itself. So I'll tell you what. Call it odds or evens.
Odd.
All right. Okay, so odd would have been in your favor. I rolled a 2. So, you know, a person just walking down the street sees the door open all by itself, and just kind of this man is like, good heavens. And just kind of staring at the door. He's not really doing anything. He's just.
I'll walk towards where Heinrich is.
Okay. This man is also kind of he's motioned to like a friend of his, and now they're both kind of slowly walking towards the door. He goes, I swear it just opened all like it's something's bolt open. No, it didn't.
And a voice emanates from the bush. Stop where you are, witch. Do not take a step towards me.
Who are you aiming at?
I'm aiming where the door opened because I'm convinced there's an invisible witch coming for me.
Kind of.
And the two guys just stop. It's like, what did you? Good heavens! What in blazes? What are you doing? Hiding by how? And they can't even complete sentences. They're trying to say, you know, it's
witch hunting business, civilian. I am Heinrich, the great witch hunter. You should go back to business.
And one of them looks at the other, like, I've heard of him. That's Heinrich. You're hunting witches here.
Yes, there is an invisible witch out here right now.
And the other man looks like, some of us law-abiding citizens are behind you all the way, sir.
Good. What you can do now is to vacate the premises. We're doing serious work here.
Don't you need help, sir? And the other one looks up, like, that could be witches. Are you crazy? And so they're sort of backing away, but not really. You know, they're kind of rubbernecking and backing away all at the same time.
I have killed one witch before. If you have not killed at least that many, please vacate. Witch.
Okay.
Speak your name.
Walking back a little bit more.
Speak your name.
Heinrich. Heinrich, it's me.
How do I know that? You can disguise your voice.
Bloody hell, ask me a question.
Who the hell are you talking to?
No, right.
Did you hear that? Yes. I heard something. Ed, did you hear that?
Are you people
Something's talking to him. I heard that. You heard it too, didn't you?
It is dangerous.
More people are starting to like arrive. It's not tons, but it's probably like about 3 or 4 other people, and so they're having these conversations back and forth. You know, you're not sure who they're talking about.
This is too public. We take it inside, and I charge where I think the witch is and tackle.
Hans, what are you doing at this exact moment? It's
I don't know. I'm either being tackled and dragged into a house, or following Heinrich into a house of my own volition.
Okay, well, roll me a d20 there, Heinrich. You're gonna kind of make an attack roll here. We're gonna have quite a penalty on it.
I rolled a 17. What do I get to add or subtract there?
You get to add your normal melee attack bonus. Your normal attack bonus. So
2. Normal.
So you got a 19 at that point. You're taking a -6 because Heinrich is invisible. Or Hans is invisible, rather. So that's actually only going to be a 13, which does mean you actually bump into him because he only has an armor class of 12.
Okay.
So there's a oof.
I'm trying to close the door behind me too while wrestling this invisible witch to discourage the rubberneckers.
Okay. Well, you're kind of stumbling, like you've just bumped him, so you're a little bit off balance. You're trying to close the door. So you're able to do it, but it is very ungraceful.
Okay.
And Jurgen, on the other hand, you're in front of a locked door.
Yes, I will draw my sword, and I will stick my forehead to the door. And I will not yell, but I will speak through the door, which is it. You will die, and then I'm going to step back and kick the door in.
Okay, now let's just try this again. This time we're going to do your open door skill.
Oh, okay.
You know, I completely screwed you the other time. So let's use our open doors.
Under a 17 was a darn good chance. That's not your fault.
It sure was. I'm actually going to give you. Well, you know, let's do this again because this is a house door. So let's go ahead. Have you roll your strength. We're not going to. It's not a dungeon door. Yeah.
Okay. God, let's hope not. 2. 2.
Well, you rolled under your strength. You rolled. So you break this door off the hinges. You're coming in.
Okay.
So as you do that, you hear like a crash. So you see you can see that somebody has actually jumped through this second story window.
Okay.
Out the second story window.
Okay.
There is one other figure in the room.
Okay.
And what you're able to see is what looks like maybe like a chair leg coming right at you. So they're going to make an attack roll.
Okay.
Holy mackerel! They roll 20. So we're gonna confirm that again to see if that, because this could be the one-shot kill right here. Okay, they did not confirm this the critical, because yeah I do video kids, if you want to watch a video about the one-shot kills and Lamentations of Flame Princess, we decided to adopt that house rule. He could have just died right now, but they did not confirm that. But you are going to take some damage from this, so. Well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we leveled you up. Points of damage as this chair leg just clunks you right in the head.
How much?
5.
Oh, 5. I didn't hear you.
I mean, so like literally what happens, like all in a split second, is you knock the door off the hinges. You see, you know, it just you kind of hear first and then see like somebody must have jumped right out the window, but clearly there's somebody else still in the room. And you don't even see the person. You just see the chair leg coming for your head, and you're running in. I'm assuming is
yes,
you know how I'm gonna narrate this happening. Like you're walking in and you just kind of see chair leg whack, it clunks you like
Okay.
right across that. And meantime, outside, Josh is like frantically trying to close the door. And you hear a man scream, "One of them's getting away!" And you can hear the sound of the breaking glass coming from like inside the house, but clearly you can both of you. And one of the men's like, Heinrich, it's getting away.
Good. I will chase it because I just heard the sound upstairs of my friend Jurgen driving his blade into the head of the other one. I am confident that he has this. And as for the invisible one, I will find it later. So I run out the door and
just stay here then, right?
Good job, Jurgen! I yell behind me as I run. And I'm trying to see if I see this woman out here. How big a crowd is there?
There are about 10 people right now. They're all kind of more in front of the house. The window itself that actually broke, if you were looking at the house yourself, would be on the left-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
The left-hand side, second-story window. You see like a figure, running down the street. It is, you can't really tell. It's got like parts of it, or it's got a dress on. But they're sprinting quite an incredible.
Citizens, I must chase this witch down, and I've got the crossbow. I'm going in full commando mode, just sprinting after her.
Okay, we never did talk about your encumbrance. How much crap are you carrying these days?
Okay, right now I have.
I'm looking for points of encumbrance. That's really it.
Yeah. I officially have 2 points. I'm
so
you're encumbered.
Okay, you're still fine. So you're running after this thing. In the meantime, Jurgen's going to roll initiative.
Okay.
Because we are actually now officially in a combat.
Plus deck. Oh no, wait. This is the die.
No, you're just rolling. You're using a melee weapon, so you're rolling an 8.
8. Criminy.
Okay. So you're going to go on round. And Hans, what are we doing?
Getting to my feet.
Yeah.
Hearing the commotion upstairs, and I figure, well, I don't know quite what's going on, so I'm going to look for witchy paraphernalia and just start poking around the downstairs, maybe looking for a basement.
Okay, so let's go back to Jurgen. This person has a 1. so they will go first.
Go.
You see a woman upstairs. She's kind of like just sort of bedraggled a little bit. You almost as looks like she was in the middle of like taking part of her dress off. So she's she's kind of mobile. You can see that she's like got some. It looked like almost like she was trying to change her clothes.
Okay.
She actually has pants on like. Yeah, she's got man's pants on and a pair of boots, but she still has like part of her like blouse and everything and part of the dress still on. But she was in some kind of really elaborate fancy getup. But she's got this chair leg, and so she's going to swing it at you again, and she just looks furious. So there's this look of just pure hatred on her face. And okay, my goodness. So your armor class is a what?
16. Well, 15 with no shield.
A 15 with no shield. Okay. So at this point, you take another 4 points of damage. She just clocks you again with this.
I am dead.
You are dead.
I am dead.
Where are you at right now? You were at 9 hit points?
I'm at 1. I'm at 1.
You're at 1 hit point. Okay, yeah.
No, I was at 1. So minus, what did you say? 4?
How many hit points did you start the session off with?
I started. Remember, I'm wounded from the dive through the window.
Yes, you had 6. Yeah, so you're at 1, and then you just took another. So what? You're at -3.
What did I just do? You just did how much?
What the hell did I say? It was 4 or 5?
4.
And I have 1. So that's -3. So I'm at -3.
Yeah, you are irrevocably dying at this moment.
Yes. Yep.
You're just clocked right in the head.
So I'm laying on the floor, kind of feeling the blood and the brain tissue and I just kind of lay there staring at the ceiling, not knowing who I am or what the hell just happened.
Good God. And that's how it happens, kids. That's karma. So at that point, Hans, you hear a thunk and another thunk from upstairs.
I'll listen a little bit, and I'm kind of thinking that sounds like Jürgen's got the upper hand.
All right. So, and then you see this woman coming downstairs, and she's walking down there, and she just looks. She's just disheveled. She's yanking off the rest of her blouse, and you can see her.
You gotta let this go off a second. Sorry, I'm sorry. That's just too funny. I'm sorry. Okay. Woo. Okay, I'm good.
Oh. And this is this is the karma for Jürgen not dying last session.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll try and sneak around the witch.
Well, the funny thing about the witch is, I feel so unfeeling, folks. Here I am, he's just died. I just keep narrating, but as she's coming down the stairs, she's ripping off parts of her blouse, and you see her features are changing, and it's no longer this woman. It's Jürgen walking down the stairs.
Bugger.
And the more you look at her, the more her features change until you see Jürgen standing in front of you, and she looks around.
And I'll attempt to sort of do or die kind of acting, just kind of clear my throat and go, "Stay where you are, sorceress."
And there's a look, and there's kind of a mixed look in her eyes of anger and fear.
That's right.
Heinrich, what's going on with you?
Stop! My friend Jürgen has already killed the other member of your foul coven.
You don't know. So you're running after this thing, and let's see if you're actually able to catch this creature or not. I forget if there's actual evasion and pursuit rules in this or not. I know there are.
I think so. Chase, I don't think there's chase rules.
Really? Well, I'll tell you what.
Let me look.
I thought they had the same ones as what do you call it? as BX, but let's just take a look here because they've got to be very close to Basic Fantasy or BX. Let's see if they're all pretty much interchangeable. So let's just take a look here.
All right.
This
Yeah, Pursuit.
It is. Okay, go ahead.
It's on page, well, let's see here. When one character or party is running from another, it is not merely a matter of movement rate, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, both sides of the pursuit roll 1 die 20 and add their movement rate divided by 10. So, for example, characters with 120 movement roll 1 die 10 plus 12. The higher
Okay, you know what?
wins. The higher roll wins.
Okay, in this case, you guys both have equal moves, so go ahead, both roll.
So wait, hold on. I rolled d20 times what?
Just roll d20 because your move rate is the same, so I don't think it's going to really matter.
It landed on a 12.
Okay, you're actually catching up to this person.
I said,
So you're and they are not stopping. So, but you are in range that you can attack them. You can try to tackle them. You could get a shot off on them, although it's a little tough to get.
I can actually physically tackle her.
Yeah, you're getting really close to her.
She appears to be a normal woman and not some kind of grotesque being, right?
She appears to be a normal woman.
I think that Heinrich will go for the tackle. So, just like the invisible witch inside, he goes for the shoulder block.
Okay, yeah, we're going to do this opposed d20 roll here, see if she can get away from you or not, and you can add all your modifiers to that again.
Okay, all of my modifiers. So is it a normal 2-hit or is it dex and strength?
Yeah, dex, attack, bonus, strength, everything you got.
Okay, that is a 16.
Okay. So yeah, you guys are tied. So you're kind of like you're grappling her, and she's like getting out of your grip. A little bit, but she's I mean she's got the upper hand. It's a tie, so she's really getting out. But you're stopping her. She's tripping a little bit.
This lady lives.
So she's starting to get away from you again.
Oh man! So she actually slipped out of my grip.
Yeah, she has. It's like almost like you knocked her down, and she got back up, and you just didn't quite have a chance to get her. Like
Heinrich is fed up. He's going to take a knee and try to shoot her in the back.
With a crossbow?
Yes, sir. Heavy crossbow.
Okie dokie. Okay.
So,
go right ahead. Are you going to take?
That is 11.
11, and that is with your modifier.
Yeah, I didn't take aim. I just kind of shot quick. So.
Okay, and that was it with a +2 as well.
Yes, sir. I already added that in.
Oh, you add the shooting from behind.
9 plus 2. So.
Okay, but the +2 is your dex bonus. Your attack. You put your
attack.
That's
my ranged. Yeah, my ranged AB is +2.
Okay, and then you put the +2 for shooting her from behind as well.
Oh, right? Okay. Oh, okay. Good call.
So that's a 13, which sails right past her because that's not quite her armor class. but she didn't hit anybody else, but she's speeding up now. She's like, she realized you're trying to kill her.
Oh, you foul witch, you hag! Come back here and fight me like a man, woman.
Okay, so you have a choice here at this point. You can try to get another shot off, and you're probably going to lose her if you don't hit her, or you can start running after her again.
Oh, choices. I'll let the dice decide. Odds is evens is. I am going to try to shoot her again. So.
Okay.
Oh goodness, that's 16 plus 4. Yeah, that's 20.
That's a 20. Okay. She is just. I mean, it takes you. It takes you a while to like load that crossbow and everything, and you just get her at the outside of the range, and you just zap her with this thing. So go ahead and roll some damage.
Okay, that's a D8.
I believe crossbows are D8.
Yeah, I think the heavy one is.
Yeah.
That is 2.
That's 2 points of damage. And so yeah, you see that the bolt like just hit her like in the shoulder blade, and she stumbles. She's like but then she keeps running.
Oh zones! Foul witches made of tougher stuff than me.
However, you may have slowed her down enough. It's possible, but you really have to put on the steam. But let's go back to what Hans is doing, because Hans is now, how many, how long have you actually been inside? Not very long, probably only about 5 minutes or so.
I'm going to try and keep her attention. But every so often I sort of stop talking as I tear the paper cartridge off one of my apostles, put it in my flintlock, and just start loading a pistol as I'm sort of going, yes, I was onto your sinister witchcraft from the beginning.
Which, it's like, who's there? And she's like looking just really, really.
What has become of Heinrich, of Jürgen, the one whose face you've stolen?
So he is dead, bleeding out on the floor upstairs.
Oh, bugger. And what have you done with Amanda? Amanda Schmidt?
And she doesn't answer a thing. She's clearly at this point, she's looking around. She's trying to figure out where you are.
I kind of sidestep. My goal is to sort of maybe get around her so I can maybe start making my way up the stairs. But
that's going to require one of them stealth rolls. But I'll tell you what, that's going to be a lot tougher. It's going to be a lot tougher. You're going to have to roll. You're going to have to roll a 1, or she's going to know exactly where you are.
Yeah, I got a 3.
Okay, so she's lunges now. And is taking a swing with this cherry leg that she still has in her hand.
This Vorpal table leg.
Yeah, Vorpal table leg. And
the Jürgen Slayer.
I forget what the rules are for invisible opponents. I believe it's -6. I'm gonna call it -6 at this point. So so she should. So it's a. Let's see. -6. Okay. Hans Fleischer, you're just taking a clunk from the stable leg. You're stepping back, but this thing's still whack you. You're just taking 4 hit points of damage.
Ow. So I'll just bugger. So frantically trying to load the pistol. Not even trying to talk to her now, like just loading the pistol.
Okay, you are at this point. You're in the middle of combat, so you're gonna have to roll initiative. So what is your plan?
My plan is to try and move around her as best I can, loading my pistol as I go and aiming for the success. It's all movement at the moment. If it looks like she's going to bolt for the door, then I'll just madly lunge at her and try and stop her. But I don't know. I'm conflicted. Or no, I'm going to keep to the plan. Upstairs, get to Jürgen. Okay.
So you're gonna try to go upstairs?
Yeah, loading the pistol as I go.
Alrighty. Well, just roll initiative.
No. Sorry.
Go ahead. Roll initiative.
Is it just D6 for general actions?
We're gonna call it D6. Yeah.
Yeah. 5.
Okay. She rolls a 1. Good God. So she's swinging again frantically, trying to figure out where the heck you are. There's no way. She does not hit you at this point. The chair leg just smashes down on like a little table that was next to you. It just breaks, and you're able to get past her. You're able to get past her up the stairs relatively easily.
Okay. I don't know how long it will take me to load up a flintlock. So if it looks like I just need to give up on that action, I'll start heading up the stairs.
Well, I'm going to say that probably you've been trying to load this thing since she started talking to you. So. Yeah. I say go ahead. You've got this thing loaded.
So about halfway up the stairs, I just kind of level it at where she is. Now this will break my invisibility. The minute I take some sort of combat action, it will. But I'm kind of hoping that I get enough of the drop on her to put a lead ball in her head.
Okay.
So happy for me to roll. I'm +1 at ranged. 6. So maybe not.
A 6. Well, there's an incredible crack. There's a lead ball goes swinging by her head. There's a lot of smoke in right now. You are somewhat obscured. You have become visible, but she has not figured this out yet, I don't believe.
If that's, I'm just going to cheese it up the stairs as best I can.
Okay. And at this point, Jürgen? Jürgen's still bleeding out. Heinrich. Let's
I'm back in hot pursuit of this witch.
Okay.
Is she still visible? Can I still see her?
Yeah, you can. You should just roll a d20 again.
Yes, sir. I didn't add anything to that, right? Just roll it.
Right, yeah, we're just doing straight up roll. Yeah.
That's a 14.
Is clearly wounded. Like, I mean, you've slowed her down because you are starting to gain on her again. You can see her. She's yanked this out right out of her shoulder and started going in. But that's taken her. She's pained.
Okay, well, I'm sprinting behind her. I'm trying to make ground here.
Okay, so at this point, you've managed to catch up to her. It's taken you a little while.
Okay.
So you were able at that point. Once again, you're able to like tackle her if you want to. You can engage
try to
melee.
grab her by the back of the clothing and sling her into the ground.
Okay, just go ahead and make one of those opposed rolls again.
That is an 8.
Okay. You try to grab her by the clothing once again. She like swings back with a hand. She whacks you in the head. Doesn't cause any damage, but she hits you a lot harder than a woman ought to be able to hit you. At least a woman of her size.
Good Lord. What are you made of? Well, I'm gonna try to take the butt of my crossbow and crack her in her head with it.
Okay, we need to roll initiative.
Okay. That would be a melee attack, so
It sure would.
D8, that's a 5.
Okay. She rolls a 4.
Hmm.
But the damnedest thing, as she turns around, you realize that you're fighting yourself.
What?
And her features are slow. I mean, I'm just like really actually quite rapidly going from the features of this woman you've really never seen before. But, the hair is still long and crazy because, hey, Heinrich Sawyer's hair is long and crazy. I've seen that already. But it always looks like she's just showered right before or he's just showered. But her face is turning into Heinrich's face. And at this point, she is just like throwing like a punch at you. Like a backhand, like kind of a backhand, like, just open hand attack at you. Oh man, that's awful. And she just pops you like just for like 2 hit points of damage, just with an open hand.
Oh, what the hell? What are you made of? You're not human. Me? Oh. I'll show you. Crap. And I try to crack her back in the face with the butt of my weapon. And that is a natural 1.
That's a natural. All right, roll me a d6 and just pray you don't roll a 1.
That is a 3.
Okay, good. Yeah, so you miss. And it's kind of like a whiff.
Yep. I'm picturing me ducking under and the crazy hair just flying.
Okay, well, roll initiative again.
Okay. I'm going to try a similar tactic. And that is a 7.
7. Okay, she rolls a 4 again. Dear God. And let's see. Heinrich Box, armor class. Oh, here. And she gives you this like double fist, like whack. 6 points.
How many?
6.
Oh goodness gracious! The old axe handle. I'm in bad shape. I'm at like 4 HP now. Oh. Witch fighting is tough. Good thing Jurgen has it in hand back in the house. So I try to crack her in the head again, and it is a natural 1. I'm not even lying.
Roll a d6. Roll a d6.
It is a 1. I'm not lying.
It is a 1.
It is a 1.
So once again, you try to hit her, but the weapon, like, just, I don't know if it's because you're so knocked out or whatever, but the weapon, like the musket, I believe you got the other end of it, just slips right out of your hands.
Yeah.
Just goes flying.
Yeah.
Just goes flying. All right, at this point, let's stop for a second. Dr. Hans Fleischer, you're standing there, you're cheesing it up the stairs.
Yep.
You've just become not invisible anymore. You're in the house with what looks like Jurgen.
Yeah, and I'll see him there, and I'll Immediately, if it looks like his brain's been exploded across the floor, I might not try and diagnose what's going on. Otherwise, I might try and attempt.
It does.
So he looks dead.
He looks pretty dead. Looks pretty dead.
Top of my head is caved in.
Yeah, but you're in a room. It has a functioning, it has a door that no longer functions. And at that moment, the door of the house actually bursts in, and several men come running in.
I see.
And you can hear like shouts and what have you, and yelling, and you hear what sounds like Jurgen's voice yelling back. And it looks like there's quite a commotion downstairs. I was like, where's the witch hunter? I heard shots in here. Is there another witch hunter in here? Are you him? You're the witch hunter, are you? And you hear in Jurgen's voice, yes, I'm the other witch hunter, and there's another one getting away upstairs.
Bugger. I'm sorry, Jurgen. Like, take the book out, and I'll start incanting animate dead.
Okay. Well, once again, our good doctor must roll a saving throw at -1.
So I rolled an 8, so that's a 7.
All right. So now, I just thought this was gonna be this other session, So like,
sorry for desecrating the memory of your character, Jay.
Okay. So now, here's the thing. Is the spell's going to operate, as written, but you roll a d12.
Okay. 7.
You roll 7.
Uh-oh. Meanwhile,
I'm sorry.
you can
You
hear
roll 7 for now.
you can hear Jurgen singing his song, by the way, this whole time, Hans. From the dead.
Okay.
The earth of all.
The description of the spell is that I energize the faint memories of life. So if anything's coming through, it's the Zod song.
Right. So
One last hurrah for Jurgen.
Yeah, so you're able to do this. So Jurgen's body, literally just like all of a sudden it starts to go bolt up and very, very, very close to what the creatures that you saw before that the simulacra was able to animate. Now I believe you're able to actually command this thing.
Yep. And I'll just say, hold the door.
Well, there's no door.
Yeah,
there's no door to hold.
You're
gonna knock the door off the hinges.
Cover my escape, and then I'll go to the window that the other witch escaped out of and see if there's an easy way down rather than just.
It's clear. It's clear with the curtains. It's clear with the curtains and the bedding here that you could definitely make yourself a way to slip down. However.
So Jurgen goes over and covers the window.
However,
you said cover his escape, so I'm covering his escape.
However, hold on. However, let's just try to get back to what's going on here. So. Dr. Heinz Fleischer's asked this mindless zombie to cover his escape. He notices. You notice. Stop making that sound. He just wants to play his damn character one last time. So at the same time, you can see that there's enough.
That's funny.
I'm just going to throw Speak with Dead on him in a minute and just see what happens.
Hold on. I know what I need to do. I turned the sound off so I can't hear you. That gets out of the be crazy. So, at the animated Jurgen, you can definitely see you can get down the window with curtains or the bedding or whatnot. But at the same time, you can say like there's some kind of you open some kind of tear in the fabric of reality itself. Like you know, because you're used to having that speak with dead spell open all the time. You're used to hearing those voices. You're used to hearing that almost extra dimensional, otherworldly, from beyond. And you could see it was almost like that same kind of energy. Like you open something that should not be opened. Something actually animated Jurgen, but at the same time, you felt like you could see like this rip didn't quite close, and you could just kind of feel it. More than see it, you can kind of feel it still open, and all of a sudden you just hear this horrific sound, and you hear screams from downstairs.
Oh, shit.
And you hear like on the staircase itself, you hear just this incredible sound of mayhem, and as you're trying to get out the window, with the zombie covering your escape, you're having to push this mindless creature out of your way. You see just this horrific whirling mass of like claws and tentacles and eyes and teeth, just making this horrific sound there. And you hear the screams of men, and you realize that it's ripping people apart. And it's totally, completely, out of control as you're able to get yourself down out of the house, out of like just a sheet. You don't even have time to tie it. You're just kind of riding it down and letting the friction of that sheet like scraping against the window and everything like slow your descent. You don't actually take any damage, but you can hear the shrieks of men, and you see the door is kind of opening. A man is running out, but like he's missing one of his arms. And you can see this thing just bursting right out of the house, taking the door and most of it with it. And it's just it's probably the size of like 2 or 3 cows put together. You can't even tell like what, if it's not holding still long enough for you to get any kind of bead on what it is, but it just starts barreling down the street and it's like into another house. People are screaming, but this thing is clearly just like out of control.
May God have mercy on me.
And you realize that you've ripped some kind of hole in the fabric of reality, and when you animated Jurgen, something else got out. What do you do? In the meantime, while you're pondering whether you should stay there and watch and be torn apart by this entity yourself, along with everybody else on the street, Heinrich.
As I throw the crossbow and as I feel throttled by this witch, I start to consider my options. And it's fight versus flight, and Heinrich goes with flight.
Okay.
He is a very good climber. He was used to climbing trees to get away from danger as a boy. Are there any buildings or trees or other high surfaces that he can scramble up to get away from this champion boxer witch that he has found himself inadequately?
You think you can see, and there are some larger trees there that you're pretty sure. If as long as you get a head start, that you should be able to scramble up these. Whether or not this creature can scramble up the tree too, you don't know.
I'm going to take my chances, even though the last tree climbing incident did not go well.
Okay, just roll a d20.
Roll a d20. That is a 5.
That is a 5. Okay. You're right. It doesn't do any damage, but it kind of whacks you. So you're tripping and stumbling.
So it's I didn't make much progress there, I'm assuming.
You didn't make much progress there. So it's kind of like getting ready to like whack you again. You can definitely and it just stops for a second. You look like you might have another chance to get away if you really try.
I'm going to attempt it. That is a 7.
That is a 7. Okay, at this point, it's kind of like ignoring you. Walking over to where the musket is that you've thrown.
Oh, that was a crossbow.
Yeah. Oh, it was crossbow. I was walking over to where the crossbow is that you threw, that you tried to hit it with.
Yeah. Okay. Well, luckily I've got all the bolts in my little ammunition pouch. At least I think I do. So I'm going to keep running for the tree.
You just found this out and is furious and throws the crossbow in your direction. But it does not hit you. It goes sailing over your head.
What in the world? Ha ha! I am not immune to damage.
Okay, so now you're trying to crawl. You're trying to climb this tree under duress. But go ahead, make your climb roll.
Yes. Normally it would be a 3 out of 6. But we'll see. I've actually got a 1.
You okay? And roll me a d6 to see how good you're climbing up this tree.
That is a 4.
Okay, well, you're making some good progress up this tree at this point.
The fatherland.
And this thing is like furious that it hasn't actually gotten you.
Go away, witch.
You see as from your vantage point up in the tree, you see people also kind of running in your direction, and you realize there's some of the people that you were talking to originally.
You can help now, people. I changed my mind.
Mm.
Kill her.
All right, and Hans Fleischer, what are we doing at this moment as you're watching the mayhem and destruction?
So I'll kind of start moving towards the mayhem and destruction, and kind of creature, what are you? I demand you talk to me. Where are you from?
Well, whatever this hippo monstrosity is ignoring you entirely. And which direction does it go next? It starts going full tilt in the direction that Heinrich ran. And so Heinrich, what you see is the men running up to help, and all of a sudden you see the other you down there on the street say, it's there, he climbed up the tree, the witch is trying to impersonate me. And then you see its eyes get really big like saucers. And then the men that are kind of running now to help, and they're not sure who to help.
Good men, Heinrich does not wear a dress.
You see this thing just coming, barreling down the street like some kind of train, and the men that were running to help you, well, they're not really doing so good right now. They're kind of been torn apart into pieces. And then this creature that looks like you is standing there like with its eyes like this, and it just gets run over and splattered like kind of like a fly hitting a windshield. And this just monstrosity just continues to go down the street.
I'm as still and quiet as I can be now in the tree. I am become one with the tree. I will not move.
And
holding my position.
And this is how the 15th of January have gone. It's going. This is a Thursday, folks. We figured out this is a Thursday. Well, guys, what do you think? Do we play some more, or do we just have a cliffhanger at this exact moment?
Tree hanger.
I think. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this is about the time that if we did have a kind of a cliffhanger thing, it means that some dashing new foolish hero can show up just in time when what's created.
But I think at this point, this is probably a good place as any to stop the session, which did not go anyhow like I thought it might go, but was phenomenal anyway. So yes, now that is what happened.
I hated to laugh, but I really thought, if we're wrong and these are just little old women, or these are just women that I've just been killed by some woman with a chair leg, I just cracked up. I had no idea they were witches at that point. That's masterful.
Jurgen's got this.
The great witch hunter struck down by some 30-year-old woman in her boudoir.
Well, I really think I think the only thing that really saved everybody was the fact everybody else was the fact that Lee rolled that failure.
Oh.
And number 7 is straight out of the VAM rule book that an extra dimensional entity has slipped in and it is out of control.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
I rolled some random rolls to see which direction it would go, and it favored the party, or what was left of the party. So as we leave this, we have an active zombie. Well, we're not sure. Maybe the zombie got killed too, but there may or may not be a Jurgen zombie in this house. There is Jurgen, well, Jurgen has passed away clearly, which is sad. We have Heinrich, who just barely, literally based on a reaction roll, like what was this creature going to do next, has escaped with his life. And Dr. Hans Fleischer really saved his own life by botching a spell.
Cast more spells, Doctor.
I know he's kind of feeling a little bit guilty about releasing a chthonic entity onto the world. You know, I don't want to throw blame around, but he feels a little bit responsible for it. You know.
We do it all the time.
Yeah, he's at least 30% responsible.
Well, and
you know.
technically, it might have been the witch. Hans doesn't necessarily know he did it.
Yes, that's it. When in doubt, blame witches.
I think he kind of gets that feeling.
It has to be one of the witches, right?
Well,
yeah.
The one acting is Jurgen.
Maybe.
She must have done this.
All right. Well, we're gonna stop the broadcast now, and unless you want to talk online anymore about this.
Very good, guys. Again, great session, fun.
All right, kids, and we'll find out what happens next. I do change. I'm starting a new job, so I'm not gonna be able to do Fridays at this time anymore. So we have to figure out another day that's agreeable to, because of course Lee is across the pond, so he's GMT. I'm GMT -5. Josh is -6, and Jason's -7. So we're playing with quite an hour spread. Right now Lee is a trooper because it is what time?
Nearly midnight.
It's like midnight, yeah. At midnight, 7 o'clock.
But I've got these kind of awful energy drinks that keep me going. So
right.
There's sort of weird alchemy in there. This one's called Rockstar. So yeah, must be good.
Well, actually, no. While we're still on, how did you feel, Jason, about your character dying?
Oh, I mean, that's old school. To be honest with you, I expected us to be dead many sessions ago. How do I feel about it? Well, it's heartbreaking to lose a character you've been inhabiting for 6 sessions. At the same time, it's fun, and it brings a bit of a chuckle for 2 reasons. One, you're a bit sad about it, but at the same time, the thought that you might have just been killed by some random homeowner with a stair leg is always and again, I've said this before. People have heard me speak to this. I don't believe in meaningful death in games. I believe in meaningful living. And Jurgen lived meaningfully. His death is what it is. But Jurgen's memory will be how he lived, not how he died. But yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic. Not dying, but the game. It's great. And I want to introduce my new character. I have 2 characters here.
Right. I know you had. We all. I think you all created several because you were scared to death that this was the first session was going to be.
We'll introduce that character next time.
Right. So you've got a new one. All righty. Any other impressions from the session from the peanut gallery?
I thought it was good. Yeah, character death is always a sad thing, but I think it's got to be part of the game. In some ways, inevitable of the game. My belief is always that a hero, or whatever you want to say people are, even an anti-hero, they're all doomed to die at some point or another. So yeah, it's got to happen.
Right.
This is essentially heavy metal BX. It's not it's not a story game, so we all expected to die in session 1. I really enjoyed the way he played Jurgen, and I really enjoyed the character. And on a personal level, I'm sad to see him go, but it was kind of comical the way that my character just thought that he was doing fine up there and just abandoned him. So that's going to be the memorable aspect for me, I think. And hopefully Jason's not too upset about it. And
Oh, no way. No way.
No, you guys split the party 3 ways. It was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been metagaming. If you had turned on your actions, I would have been more upset by that.
Well, I'm happy the way it turned out. It was all in character and it was all very memorable.
Yeah.
So
it was. I'm proud of the fact that we are now 20 some odd hours into this campaign, and there's not been any metagaming.
No,
brilliant.
Very
brilliant.
character. Very
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting too. Like, Jurgen, we were dealing with a wounded character, and actually, we had a leveling up session right before we pressed live, and so Jurgen started the session with something like, I think he had 6 hit points when he started the session.
I would have started at 4 had we not leveled up.
Mm-hmm.
So you start at 4. Yeah, Jurgen had 8.
Yeah, yeah, and then diving through the window is what put me at -3.
Yeah.
If I kicked the door in, I wouldn't have suffered damage.
Oh, you suffered that 1 hit point. That's right.
-2. So that's the irony: is that dive through the window is ultimately the in the night or in the morning that ended up being the 1 point too much.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. The last.
I've played Jurgen the way Jurgen would have dealt with the witches. Yeah.
Yeah, full bore.
And I'll tell you,
interesting.
I went into the game session fully believing that the Amanda I left in her bedroom was a witch, and I was going to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
You described her coming down the stairs and her demeanor, and then when I had her by the hair and shook the glass, and you described her as just being, then I realized no, Jurgen wouldn't do it unless he really felt. But I had every intent going into the house that I was going to remove her. So I think that came off okay. But my mindset going into the session was he was at that point he was upset, distraught, and was going to destroy that Amanda. So interesting how you described. Had you described it any differently, I would have strangled her.
Right. Yeah. I can imagine. I can imagine. But what you're tuning in next time, and you'll find out. What will our heroes tell? Bertrude. What will they tell? What will they tell Bertram and Sophie when they come home?
So here's what happened, guys. Now you might find this a bit weird, but
yeah, and that's fantastic. So that was a good session. I'm sorry to see Jurgen die. Like I said, he would have started the session with 14 hit points because we did a leveling up session. Jurgen had 8 as a 2nd level fighter. He rolled 6 hit points, so he had 14 hit points. But he only started the session with 4 because he was still healing from the last session. I was a nice guy and said, you know what? Why don't you keep 3 of those hit points, those 6 you rolled? So we started the session with 7.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he took quite a few.
You owe me. I mean, I think our first session together, I killed you 3 times.
You did kill me 3 times. Actually, if you watched that, the Cervantes died.
I still owe you 2.
Yeah, Cervantes died in the first round. It literally opened up the dungeon door, boom, a sword right through his head. So yeah.
And then Steven, I think you died as Steven, didn't you? Steve.
Yeah. No, he died and Dim died, but yeah. So that's normal. So yeah, it was good. I look forward to the next session. We'll figure out when we're gonna play it again, and of course our cast will be somewhat different. And clearly our adventures at this point are reeling, and once again through the magic of playing to find out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had a bunch of things written up that I think, okay, well, this might happen, that might happen. They're literally none of that happened. You dealt with the one thing that I thought would probably take 15 minutes of game time, or you would spend a little bit of time on, and then other things were going to show up. But
well, that's the nature of it. That's what I love about this kind of gaming. Yep.
So I over-prepared.
Well, here is your New York one-off. So
that's fantastic.
Talk about over preparation, but you know what? That's part of the fun.
Yeah. But here's my New York character sheet. Where I still haven't finished anything, but that's literally it. That's all of it. This is the entire thing. Not even a name. I roll these dice.
I don't know if it was known as NYC in 1690.
It is, as far as I'm concerned. So that are the stats. I put them in the classic order, but that's the character. And
I'm
yeah,
surprised
exactly.
you didn't put the Big Apple.
I know. But literally, I did that when you announced we were going to play the game. Everybody else made their characters dutifully, everything else, and this is what I've done because I've been so wrapped up with other games. So I still have this. I'm going to flesh them out. I swear to God, I'm going to give them a name.
And remember, you guys will all be level 3 for that.
Right. So that'll be awesome too. So, all right, guys, I'm going to stop the broadcast. And
thanks again. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.